Hello, chat. Good evening. Good evening. It is Thursday. Wow, I got that on the wrong way there. That's a little better. That's a little better. But anyways, chat, welcome to the show. It is Thursday night. It is time for the Thursday night show because otherwise, why would we be doing it on any other night? It wouldn't be the Thursday night show. Mauritian paper Clippy. I understand that reference. Good evening, Clippy. Gifting 5 subs, chat. Starting off the night within 1 minute with 5 subs. He's doing his part. Are you? Remember, chat, that just starting us off with on a woo tonight. That's right. That's right! Oh, let's see here. Kathy says hi. Hi, Sean. Hi, chat. Well, hello, Kathy. And guys, remember, Kathy is your realtor living in New Jersey. Guys, remember, buying, selling, renting, leasing, whatever you're doing in New Jersey with or regarding real estate, Kathy is your realtor. Remember, New Jersey, not the Channel Island Jersey. She clarifies that because I'm sure she got calls from people over there saying, can you help me, mate? And she's like, what? But it's Thursday already, guys. It's been a fast week. We are already in October, and man, it's still nice outside. It was like almost 80 again today here, and it was like that, like it was 80, but it didn't feel hot. It was still kind of chilly out, and it's getting cold out. We're still in that range where you could sleep with the windows open, but it's starting to get a little cold. Like, starting to throw some blankets on the bed. But it's been a fun week. It's been a fun week. Yeah, I hope you guys have had a great week so far. It just, there've been a lot of things this week, but other stuff happened today though, like the Indians losing and the Guardians, and they're the Indians. They're the Indians. And yeah, that was a great day. And hey, but you know what? Guess what? Now I could worry about the Browns. And then when they let me down, I'm not a Cavs fan, but the Cavs are playing. And then when they let me down, the Indians are playing. And then when they let me down, the Browns are playing. You see, it's just a cycle. It's a never-ending cycle of cope here in Cleveland. That is what runs through our veins. That is what runs through our veins, chat. Just cope. That's what made the Cuyahoga River catch fire. All the cope in this city. It's toxic and it's flammable, but it's there. So just keep that in mind. We're the coping city. Base Clippy, yes. So, yes, it's Thursday again. Yes, it is. Am I wearing the plushie outfit? Yes. Ooh, speaking of that, I got some updates on that I got to work on. Wrestler Town says, if you dare claim the toe got an L, I'm out of here. Going to jail at any point is never a dub. And we're going to get to that. Like, there's some problems here for Aaron going forward. We're going to get to that. Real quick. Stephen Cooper with 10 subs. Thank you, Stephen. Only got a couple more here. I got to make sure I do this in the right order here. Why did it say Clippy? And then like Clippy did 5 more subs. Okay. I was making sure I wasn't like double tracking on it. Amateur Iconoclast for 1 sub. Then EDW Raptor for 10 subs. Let's fucking go tonight, chat. It's a fun night. We got all kinds of victories. And it's not a suffer night. It's a suffer night. But we're getting there. I thought the Bomba was here. I was trying to grab her. Or Clyde, come here, Bubba. Hey. Hi. Oh, yes. He's like, get me away from that little dog. He's like, get him away from me, fat man. Help me. Help. Oh, speaking of coping, this guy right here is coping like a son of a bitch. He's coping because of Bon Bon, the Papillon. You guys are going to see her in a second. But he's coping. He's like, she soaks up all the attention. And they like her. And he's like, I am so sad now. So he's like trying extra hard to like get attention and jump on people. And right away, he's like, I'll come to you right away, fat man. I love you. Don't send me to the Haitians. I'm like, I will never do that, buddy. I'll send Bon Bon there first because Bon Bon, being a Papillon is French. And they speak French in Haiti. Oh, Bon Bon, did you jump up here? Well, she tried to jump up and she fell off the fat man. These little puppy Pomeranian things, man, she's got some hops. Let me tell you what. All right. Unforced ego for 10 subs. Guys, thank you for your support and your generosity. I do appreciate it. And if you guys got a membership out of that, definitely tell them thank you very much. I know they would appreciate that a lot. So please make sure you let them know. Clyde coins above 120,000. I know it's making Bitcoin look like garbage. Are you okay, Bubber? All right. Well, and real quick, I want to get this one because it came out first. Richard Gruber for $5 says, you ask, but I'm a VOD watcher. Well, that's all right. Nothing wrong watching VODs. He said, my drum is from glorious Republic of China. I still have the carry pouch for it. Also, I have a Korean and Romanian. All work with no issues. Based. Nothing wrong with an AK with a drum mag on it. Just wasn't sure which one it was. And, I'm like that black guy in Dirty Harry. I gots to know. What about you, Clyde? You gots to know? I think he does too. So, all right, Clyde, I'm going to set you down right now, Bubber Bear. You're getting kind of heavy, and I got to get some stuff done. So, here you go. Oh. Clyde's like, why'd you drop me? She's right here. Bon Bon's jumping all over him. All right, guys. Just never a Draco. I mean, you put one on a Draco. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I have an M70 and an M92. Very nice. Very nice. Bon Bon is a Haitian spy. That would be funny. Shredder S 07 says, I recently came into a paycheck. Well, congratulations. Here's your cut. Well, thank you. Everybody's got to wet my beak a little bit. I would say at the trough, but it's like, of course you'd say the trough, fat man. Any thoughts on the government shutdown? I don't think the Democrats read the room on this one. All the polling's like, please don't make this happen. And I like all the Trump memes and the sombreros and shit, and everybody's losing their mind. But, the government shuts down 100 days every year. The government is shut down 100 days every year. 104 days every year. I mean, so, like, we manage to survive. And you're like, what do you mean? I'm like, every weekend, they're shut down. Nothing happens. Government survives, We start back up on Monday. Everything's all good. Sometimes it's even longer. It's all the government holidays. So it's like almost 130 days. It's almost shut down for 4 months every year. I don't know. I mean, we'll make it. I hope it goes on long enough. Trump can furlough all the workers. Furlough like everybody in the IRS or the FBI. Based. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yes. 2.0 still wrangling me without the paycheck. Well, she'll get back pay and she'll get all her per diem back. So, let's see. Richard Gruber is saying the Dracos are normally paratrooper rifles. They have underfolders in Romanian service. Really? Wow. They're still rocking underfolders. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Draco and high points are straight trash. No, they're not. Dracos are not trash. High point, okay, yeah, fair enough. But a Draco, no. I'm not even an AK guy, and Dracos have their place. This is the thing. This is their thing. How is Lainey dealing with Bon Bon? Lainey kind of just ignores her. She doesn't do anything. I mean, Lainey doesn't really do anything anyway. She just kind of sits there and is like she is a very traumatized, like, PTSD dog, and I don't think she really cares. I don't really think she cares. And I wish she would, like, have fun with her or something, but you know, I kind of feel like Lainey's been, like, permanently traumatized, which is really sad, but we'll be all right. We'll still take care of her. Richard says, do federal agents get paid in a shutdown? I think there are some people who still get paid, but generally speaking, no. For the most part, you get kind of back pay. So, but I think there are some who do get paid, but I think it's only a very, very small amount. So. Lainey with 1,000 barks. pretty much. That's true. Let me see here. Congress and judges, yeah. Well, there too. And all their federal credit unions give advances. I have heard that. But I don't know anybody dealing with that right now, so I don't know if that's still true or not. But you know, the government shut down. Oh no. Who's gonna shoot the dogs now? But I still like that ICE is out there going and rounding people up despite the shutdown. That is the best part. That is the best part. So, all right, guys, let's get started. I guess we'll talk about the thing everybody wants to talk about. The state of Texas and many other states are starting to look at rejecting having law schools and people who come to take the bar having ABA required. I'm just kidding. We're going to get into the steel toe incarceration show. Yes, chat, that is right. Yes, Aaron Imholte, aka, I'd really be funny if on his leads reports it also says Aaron Imholte. That'd be so funny. Aaron Imholte, the founder in the leading role of the Steel Toe Morning Show. Yes, I couldn't do the Steel Toe Prolapse show. I'd probably get in trouble with that for YouTube. So, anyways, guys, remember Aaron Imholte is the lead on the Steel Toe Morning Show, along with his co-host Johnny. Well, Aaron was facing revenge pornography charges. Remember, he has been charged with sharing a picture of Kayla Rekieta, the wife of the legendary Nicholas Rekieta. He shared it with Gino Visconti, and now you're like, well, what kind of non-consensual sexual image was it? A little bit of her titty, a little bit of her nipple, from what we're able to tell. And that set off this firestorm where Aaron was initially charged with a misdemeanor and a felony. Aaron entered a plea, got the misdemeanor, and then partially through Aaron's own actions, and Aaron just couldn't leave well enough alone, kind of fucked up his first round of sentencing. And then the second round, well, I mean, yeah, he kind of fucked up the second part too. Invited Gino out to his show, and yeah, Gino started talking shit and about Kayla, and apparently that's, if the Requetas were only concerned about their image before, when they were bringing their fucking their family whore with them to church, and then getting caught for cocaine, and then having their kids taken out of the home. No, they're worried about this. This was the real hardship. Aaron Imholte was the real hardship. Not the state of Minnesota, not the scorn of the community that they live in. No, not even the scorn of their children. It's Aaron Imholte. He was the real hardship. So they did this. Aaron was sentenced on the 30th. And I will say, actually, a very interesting recap of it is Tukey, the guy who has it's kind of like if Grover and Oscar the Grouch had a Muppet baby. And, because it's like the guy's like, yay! But he looks like Grover, but he's got Oscar Grouch's color in him. I'm sure he's going to be like, it's not exactly that. That's how I see it. Anyway, he came in there and he talked about, because he went through the sentencing hearing, and I think he's correct from what it sounds like. The way Nick and the way Kayla went up there, it sounded like she was talking about like she had been in captivity for 20 years, and it's like, you whipped your titties out. He took a picture of it and he shared it with somebody. Like, let's have some fucking perspective on what this is. But apparently she's like, I can't go to St. Cloud. It's too traumatic. It's like, I would think losing your children and, being seen as a coke addict and a shitty parent and a horrible fucking person in your community, that would make me not want to leave the house. But apparently she's like, I can't go anywhere because the steel-toe man. And it just, you're giving Aaron so much power when you do that, whether or not you intend to or not. But it's, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, and it was at Aaron's house, no less. Yes, the den of inequity. Not your house that you called a Haitian, not the Haitian refugee camp you called a house, but yes. Anyway, Aaron was sentenced, and we're going to go through that because, Yeah, nothing could be more embarrassing than her own actions at her husband's. I agree, but you know what? I guess, when you have no shame, there is no shame to be had. Yeah, I mean, yes, and she went to Stoney's. I know she was so terrified, but she went to where he like hangs out and people love him, and with a big old smile on her face. Like, I don't know. Maybe the benzos were working overtime. Who knows? Who knows? But anyways, guys, Aaron was sentenced, and we have the sentencing order. And it's actually, like I said, people are like, oh, well, is it a win? No, it's not a win. Anytime you walk into court and you end up with the jail sentence, I mean, sometimes can that be good? Yeah, but in this case, one good. Wasn't a win for the two. And once I finally got something wrong in this whole Rakeda Aaron saga, I finally got something wrong. I know before people are like, you get stuff wrong all the time. I still don't know what I get wrong all the time, but I'm sure they never tell you what you get wrong. But here's where I'll admit I got something wrong. I thought Aaron was going to walk out of there with no jail time, honestly. And he didn't. He didn't. So this is the state of Minnesota versus Aaron Michael Imholte. And, his birth date and all that fun stuff. Sentencing date, September 30th. Order of warrant of commitment. And commitment means, committed to jail. He had his case charges. He had the non-consensual dissemination charge as a felony. It got dismissed. The non-consensual dissemination of a private sexual image, misdemeanor, he was convicted of. So what were the terms of disposition? Meaning, how was the case disposed of? Or its sentence? And it's, the same thing. So what happened? Well, the level of sentence was a gross misdemeanor. The offense date was May 27, 2024. So for the sentencing for count 2, he is sentenced to 364 days in the Stearns County Jail. 349 days of that is stayed for 2 years, which is a very normal thing. They put a lot on the shelf and hang it over your head. He's to serve 15 days. The credit for time served amount is 2 days, which that is actually nice for the judge. The judge could have just said, you have to serve 15 days, and the judge could say that 2 days, I'm taking off of the 349 instead. That would be perfectperfectly normal to do. That wouldn't be uncommon. I've had that happen to clients before where the guy served like 10 days in jail already. It's like, oh, you have to serve 10 days or 15 days. And like, judge, will that count towards the 15? The judge goes, no, he's got to serve 15 more. And you're like, fuck. But it happens. It happens sometimes. It happens. So the remaining 13 days are to be served in custody, meaning he's not going to get house arrest or anything like that. He's to turn himself in on or before October 17th, 2025 at 3 p.m. I know Aaron is trying to get this set up where he can do like just the weekends. And then from there, and Aaron still hasn't acknowledged it. Are you going to be able to convert to Islam on 2-day installments? I don't know. But it'll be the Steel Toe Allah show. It'll be the Allah Toe Steel show. Aaron gets out. He says, Assalamu alaikum. There's only one God, and his only prophet is Muhammad. There's only one God but Allah. So I forget how the fuck they say it, whatever. But anyways, yeah, he's going to have to do it. It sounds like he's trying to get it. I think that finally got set up, or we're going to find out soon if that's happened, but he's trying to get like on the weekends. And honestly, that's a normal thing you try to do. What can you serve? As minimal disruption to things out there. So, and Aaron's able to do the one thing Nick couldn't do. He got away from his kids. And I'm sure Nick's like, wait, maybe I want to go to jail too. So the monitoring was ordered on September 30th. He's placed on supervised probation for 2 years. And that's different than unsupervised. He's not just going to be able to go about his days and fuck around. He's going to have to check in with his PO routinely. They might make him come in and drop, a urine screen. They're going to have appointments, once a month, once a quarter. We don't really know what the status of that is, but he's going to be on supervision for 2 years. He has to pay all program fee and supervision fees. I still think this is something, when people get placed on probation, they make you pay for it. And I still think that's illegal. I still think it's unconstitutional. I'm not choosing to go on this. You're putting me on this. Why do I have to pay for these programs? Like, that's not something you should be forced to do. You should not be forced to do that. I mean, is he going to have to register as a sex offender? No, he is not. No, he is not. And ultimately, guys, here's the big thing, though. Jail time for any nonviolent crime is fucked. Here's the thing, though. Aaron's not being jailed for the crime. It's because he was fucking around with the terms of release and his terms of bond. Sure, you could sit there and say Gino fucked him, or you could say Schizo Sean, it's got to be the amazing kind of life where you fly across the country just to A-log somebody. You can make fun of them for all of that, but Aaron put himself in a situation where these retards could exploit it and use it against him. And that's the problem. He set himself up to let these guys fuck him over. So at some point, you did this to yourself. You should, like the idea, like, I didn't know these guys were going to come try to fuck me like that. I mean, I'm surprised, like, he wasn't expecting that. Somebody would come try to fuck up the show. And then Gino, Gino, I mean, with friends like that, you don't really need enemies. And then, Gino's on talking to Kevin Brennan and them and like, oh, yeah, we're fucking around and chucking it up. And he's admitting this shit on camera after Aaron gets sentenced. It's like, why would you fucking do that to somebody? But, once again, like, it's just not thinking that far ahead. So we're going to keep going, though. The conditions. So what's he got to do? He's got to follow all instructions of his probation officer. That's a standard. That's a standard term of probation. There's going to be a bunch of other ones. Like you have to get permission to sometimes leave the county, depending on how restrictive your probation is. But generally, you can't leave the state of Minnesota without permission. If you run into law enforcement, if you have encounters with law enforcement, you have to report it within 72 hours. There are quite a few terms and conditions of probation. He follows all recommendations of his evaluations. Now, why do judges say this? This is important because when you are being sentenced, a judge may not know what to do on things. So, for example, if you have a mental health problem, the judge is not a mental health professional. And even let's say they happen to be one and they're a doctor of psychiatry. Ultimately, they haven't screened you. They can't diagnose you. They want you to get an evaluation. You have to follow all the recommendations of it. Because that's their way of saying, I'm going to leave it to the professionals, but whatever the professionals tell you, you have to comply with. Get a mental health screening, a drug and alcohol assessment. Whatever they recommend for you, you must do. Well, if they say nothing, great, then you do nothing. If they say we want you to do X, you do X. If they want to say X and Y, you do X and Y. If they say X, Y, and Z, you do X, Y, and Z. If they just say Z, you do Z only. But you follow all recommendations. He has to contact probation within 24 hours of sentencing. and you're going to schedule time to sit with them and talk to them. Complete the comprehensive assessment. This is the comprehensive diagnostic assessment as directed by the agents. What is this meant for? Well, they're going to do everything. They're going to assess him for everything and figure out what's he need, what's going on. Does he have an education? Do we need to get him his GED? Does he have to do blah? Does he have to blah, 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 blah? It's going to figure out what they can do there. Cognitive skill training. So such as things like thinking for a change as directed. Now, what is thinking for a change? We talked about this before, and I forget which other cases. It may even been on Nick's thing. Thinking for a change is a very popular programs in jails and prisons. Number one, it doesn't require anything. It's like minimal materials. And basically, think for a change is a lot of people who commit crimes are really fucking impulsive. They're impulsive. They don't think things through. They don't think about, well, if I do X, what does that mean that's going to happen to me next week? And then the week after that? What are the problems going to be for me down the road? That's what thinking for a change is. It teaches you to think for a change instead of just reacting or going off of impulsivity or your emotions. No. Hey, if I punch this guy, I'm going to have problems. If I do drugs, I'm going to have a problem. And it just teaches you to think about that shit. Is he going to have to complete that exactly? I don't know. He's going to have to complete some program. So they'll probably give it to him. It teaches you to think and not be a fucking retard. And for somebody like Aaron, I mean, obviously, yeah, he's a retard, but he's not like criminally retarded. And there are some people out there with thinking for a change in programs like that. We have to teach you how to act like a civilized fucking human being. There are a lot of people out there who don't have that training and that thought because they were, raised feral, basically. So, what if it's just Aaron needs a lobotomy? Okay, well, no, that's not true. That's not true. Oh. No contact with the victims. I mean, that's a very obvious one. Now, this one's going to be real tough for Aaron. Defendants prohibited from directly or indirectly contacting, talking about, disparaging, and harassing the victims online, social media, live events, and or during any online broadcast show he participates in or has control of. So it's not only just his show when he's on, but for example, if he goes on anybody's show and somebody starts talking about Kayla, this could really be dangerous for Aaron. That's going to be really tough for Aaron. It's going to be really tough for him because, are you going to be able to go on any show where, you bring Gino on, he starts running his fucking mouth? That's going to be a violation. I would consider that a violation. Any show he participates in. I mean, basically, if, the toe logs out there really want to act super melanated, and I mean, even more melanated than they've acted so far. I mean, there's all kinds of ways they can fuck him over on this part alone right here. And I'm sure they've already thought of that, and we'll see how melanated they get. We'll see. Remain law-abiding. That's a pretty obvious one. Don't break the law, asshole. Don't break the law. Maddie's saying, so Aaron can't say anything. Aaron may be better off just deleting the word, like his entire vocabulary of any words with the word that begin with the letter K. So, Tim says he already needs to exit those shows. You got to be very careful. I'm not sure how it's going to work. He's got to be very, very, very careful, man. So, it's going to be tough. Supply a DNA sample, which in Ohio, that's only for felonies. You have to do a DNA sample. That's weird in Minnesota. They make you do it for a misdemeanor, but that's fucked. but I can't do it. Nothing about that. Sign all releases of information. So if Aaron's engaged with counseling or treatment somewhere as part of these recommendations and evaluations and assessments, they're going to say, you need this, you need that. So guess what? The probation department has to have access to that. Number one, to make sure you're going. Number two, are you actually going and complying with the recommendations? Well, those people won't just give the information to the probation department. He has to sign releases of information. And that's 100% a common thing. And some people fight over that. But they're going to get it to make sure you're complying. The fines and the fees, though. Fine of $50. That's right, chat. KNUs are mooning right now. Let me tell you. The KNUs are mooning. Off their mind. Keep your KNU coin, chat. Iron hands. The criminal traffic surcharge. That's not uncommon. The law library fees. Well, we thank you for the attorneys in your communities. Thank you for participating in the law library fees. The victim services assessment. That is not restitution to Kayla, but that's some shit. That's how they kind of fund victim services in states, is by finding the shit out of you and making it go towards that, which I think is bullshit, but hey, whatever. They don't talk to me when it comes to that stuff. So they talk about the financial summary, the fines, the fees, and the dues. $1,139, chat. That's like 3.5 show goals right there. That's a lot of StreamYards, PayPal, Venmo. That is a lot right there. They can do that. Fire PA saying, wow, jail be expensive. Well, this isn't even that. This isn't even that part of it. This is just his fines and court costs. So, yeah, it's 2022 KNUs. Super chats, Rumble rants, kicks, yes, Twitch bites, all of it. When did courts add social media to no contact orders? Since I've been practicing, since 2014 at least, because it's been a thing. So this amount may not reflect all payments or credit or restitution owed. You can pay your fines online, which I think is actually something that's very helpful. If you don't pay the entire amount, this could be referred to collections if you fail to make any scheduled payment, and collection costs will be added. And I think this part here is bullshit. Like the court's selling off your costs like that. No. Like the court, no. If you owe it, you fucking the court shouldn't be allowed to do that. I think that's another thing the court shouldn't be allowed to do. The government shouldn't be allowed to do that. If the government's all about wanting to collect payments, it should have to suffer and eat the fucking debts. And it says you have the right to contest a referral collection based on the inability to pay. So, for example, if you're just broke, for example, if, for whatever reason, you don't have a job or the inability to pay, you can say, I need more time. I'm working on this. I'm doing this. And yeah, that is an option. So signed by the judge. And that is it for Aaron. There. This is what Aaron has to do instead of serving his jail time. No. This is on top of it. Guys, no. He's got to go to, he's got probation, but he's got local confinement on top of that. Local confinement can be a probation sanction as well. Even if your case is going to probation, you can be sent to jail as an initial part of your probation. So no, he's got local confinement on top of his other probation conditions. Those are two they're stacked up on each other. It's not either or. He has to go to jail at some point and serve 13 days and also abide by all the terms of probation. So it's not a separate thing there. It's not a separate thing. Yes, Rex Start. He's like, he come into court. Well, Your Honor, well, he's like, yeah, so Judge, we had a rough week last week. We couldn't meet the goal. Anytime. There were no Streamlabs. There were no PayPals. There were no Venmos. There were no Super Chats or Rumble Rants, Judge. I'm sorry. Yes. Yep. So, he will violate, maybe. We'll see. Bama Law says, wait, he actually got jail? I've had sex offenders less time. What the fuck? Remember, it's because he fucked around as a condition of bond. He's not going to jail because, he shared pictures of, Kayla's all worn out body. Remember, Nick Rekieta said it's been destroyed. No, he's in jail because he fucked around with the terms of his bond. That's why he's in trouble. That's part of your, remember, guys, I told you before, when you're out on bond, presumably, because most cases end up pleading out and most people get convicted, your time on bond is a job audition. You're trying to show the judge, look, I can follow the rules of probation, so please give me a shot. If you can't, well, then the court's got no incentive to want to put you on probation, or it's going to put you under a ton of obligations because you're trying to show the judge, look, I'm housebroken. Are you? Are you really? Well, right now you're not looking like it. Right now you're not looking like it. Wabu says, can a random guy record live stream Aaron by surprise in the street? And the guy start recording insult Kayla, that breaks Aaron's probation? You'd like to think no, but I'm sure if that happened, Nick would go, they'd go running in there crying like fucking faggots about it. I mean, they probably would. I mean, given what they've done so far. So I could see them trying to do that shit. I could see them doing that. It shouldn't happen, but who really knows at this point? I mean, at the end of the day, is this a win? I mean, he's going to jail. So is that a win? I don't think that's a win. I think he was looking at no jail before, when he initially worked out the deal. So it got worse. I don't consider that a win. Now, is the loss been minimized quite a bit? Yeah. It also sounds like because of some good time behavior and the way they do things in Minnesota, he's only going to do maybe a total of 8 days. I don't know if that's true or not, or it's been confirmed yet. And if you could serve those 8 days over alternating weekends, then yeah, I mean, once again, you're taking that L and you're making it smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's still an L. It's still an L. Is it better, if you can mitigate the damage? Sure, but you still took damage. You still took an L. You still took an L here. So no, this is not a win for the toe. It definitely got stubbed. You didn't break a toe, but you definitely stubbed your toe. Sarah says he should have paid for unconditional release. I don't know if unconditional release would have protected him past the point of the plea, though. I don't know if that would have worked. But yeah, maybe he should have. Who knows? Did Kayla cry? It sounds like she did. I mean, I don't know. Well, once again, it's all horse shit. John says, when do they go after you? I don't know. Fucking try. What are they going to go after me for? That'd be interesting. It's a win for humor. Yeah. What's the over-under on Nick fucking up? I mean, I don't know, man, but he's got 4.5 years. It's a long time. It's a long time if he doesn't get it reduced. Let's see. This is an unironic Baldo victory. Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah. I'm sure Nick feels like he slayed the dragon on this one. It's I mean, but if this is the win you've got, it's fuck, man. You need some better wins out there. Yeah. Yeah, one other person saw her Dr. Mangled nipple. Now she can never leave the house again. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. My kick went down? What the hell happened here? Reconnect the kick. What the fuck? That was weird. Okay, so not sure what happened there. No reports of tears from Aaron or Kayla in court per Tukey. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like Tukey said, though, the way that it was being talked about made it sound like Kayla got, like, raped or something. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So Nick forced her to go off her meds beforehand. Jeez. Let's see here. I'm going to get some of these other comments and stuff here. Let me see. Fire PA 498 says for $1.99. I'm here for the $2 cans. Well, it's $2.50 now, sir. Sir! At Stoney's. And that's right, chat. When you need to go wash down your troubles, and what better place to wash down when you have to sit there and cry in the arms of that big burly Somali man for 2 days after you get done with jail. But then to go to Stoney's Bar and Grill. That's right, chat. Stoney's Bar and Grill at 1580 East Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota, chat. That's right, chat. Stoney's, they don't tolerate, none of this nonsense. You show up there and they kick you out if you are, if you come in there and you say, oh, I don't like onions. They're like, we don't like you. If you come in there and you use cocaine and for some reason one of your kids has positive for cocaine, they don't want you there either. They don't want you there either, chat. It's a good, wholesome place. It is wholesome. And chat, as of right now, it's the last bike night of the season. It's only 9 p.m., man. Get down to Stoney's, crank your hog in front of everybody. Maybe one last time before fall begins. But I don't know. Maybe you can. Heavenly Hog was there tonight. They're wrapping up. And, yeah. Yeah, that said, though, chat, there will be a party on Saturday. It's the last day of Stoney's Garage. They're going to have a party. The doors open at 11. There's going to be a live band. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Take advantage of it, chat, because summer is gone. Summer's gone. Summer's gone. No more Naked Twister. Nope. Missed the Heavenly Hog again. Don't worry, Aaron. When Aaron gets back from jail, he'll tell you all about the Heavenly Hog. Each tier is going to have a Heavenly Hog for him, probably. So there we go. And yeah, that's what's going to be. That's what's going to be. But thank you in the meantime. But guys, remember, it's $2.50 cans. Kathy, your realtor, says you are the best. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. Maddie B says Detroit is handling Ohio finally. CLE, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Yeah. Jim says I put what's up? I put $20 on his books for some dip sandwiches and Nemo's. Well, I think Aaron needs to get used to Keefy coffee and some other delicacies. Maybe people could start shipping him commissary to his house and he could start learning to try it. Like I said, he needs to watch those guys who make the spreads on YouTube, the guys who've been to prison and they teach you how to make fucking food. He needs to learn how to do that. He's got to have a skill when he goes in there. Aaron's going to come out. He's going to look like fucking, going to like Jacob and Shock Collar, just fucking shamrocks everywhere. Oh, yeah. P-Dub says Werner von Braun could get Clyde Coyne to the moon. Yes, he could. Stevie Cooper says it's the Cuyahoga Copium Conflagration Party. Yeah, thank you so much. Great Loader says it's the Tobin Stubbed. Yes, it has. Tim is saying, Sean, payment of probation fees involuntary and in lieu of jail. Well, they can't put everybody in jail, so no, they put people on probation because they can't afford to jail everybody. Toe could choose 364 days of jail if he doesn't pay the cost of probation. but people can't pay the cost of probation. You know, I didn't choose to do any of this. You chose this for me. I mean, I had an issue with this just recently with a prosecutor. They arrested somebody because the computer entry for the protection order that they had said no contact at all. And in reality, it was a very modified and limited protection order. So we went into court and got it dismissed because like clearly they didn't violate it. And the prosecutor is telling me, well, I need him to pay the fee. I need him to pay the cost. And I said, why? He's like, well, if I dismiss the cost, my city's going to have to pay for it. They're going to get mad about it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It's not my client's fault to have to pay. He's like, well, it's not the cop's fault. They read it wrong. I'm like, okay, so what? Like, everybody's wrong and then these people get fucked? Like, no. Maybe this is an incentive for us to limit how many people we prosecute. Maybe that's the moral of the story. And eventually, yeah, we ended up getting it dismissed without any cost. But yeah, this idea though, you know, you have to pay for your own supervision and shit. It's like, no, the court's the one foisting this shit on you. They need to go to the public and say we need more money. If the public won't pay for it, then maybe that's a sign we don't need to have as many people on probation as we do. Maybe that's the sign. It's kind of like, you know, for a prosecutor, you can't get money to prosecute cases. Then maybe that's a sign people don't want you prosecuting as many things. It's just the thought. That's the thought. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. To be Flair saying, how can Aaron be punished for someone else's speech? Well, ultimately, they could say you brought them on, you sent them to your show, and when they started talking, why, you know, did you try to stop them and shut the mic or whatever? I mean, it just, yeah, it's going to be seen as something in your control. And if Aaron shows up on someone else's show, they're going to say, oh, Aaron goaded them to do this, or that they talk behind the scenes, and who knows what who knows what Nick's going to cry about. Who knows he's going to cry about. Bot says, Nick hasn't been in trouble in a long time. It's only been like a year, buddy. It's only been like a year. That's not a really long time. That's not a really long time. And I mean, let's be real. We've been watching him violate his probation by being intoxicated. So, yeah, he has been kind of breaking the rules. Like, let's be real. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Aaron is a disaster, still committing crimes, and he hasn't committed more crimes. Like, Aaron and Nick have both committed the same amount of crime. It's just Aaron's case took longer. I mean, they roughly did it around the same time, too. Let's see. Operation Paperclip, he says, did someone say Werner von Braun? Dear friend of mine, yes. Yes, the man who helped redesign many properties in the city of London. Yeah, helped to redesign multiple properties in the city of London. Werner von Braun. So, they're both gay. Yeah, well, nobody's contested that. No one contests that. Nick has a restraining order against him. Yeah, but that's not evidence of a crime, though. That's not criminal activity. That's not a crime. Anybody can get a protection order against anyone. You don't have to have committed a crime for somebody to seek a protection order against you. Let's see. What if it's someone in chat says something about Kayla, he controls that show? I think if he doesn't acknowledge it, that's all he can do there, or be very on top of deleting the comments. But I think at that point, that's there. But like, if he doesn't, he can't put up super chat. He can't he can't react at all. And yeah, he's going to have somebody sit there and just fucking delete that shit, I guess. So. Nick's fantasies are going to run wild the 8 days Aaron is in jail. I don't know. I think Aaron's going to really, or Nick's going to get really mad. He's like, that should have been me. He's like, why can't it be me in there? Oh, there we go. The the restraining order to stop Nick's crimes of lust. Oh. He has a word filter set up already? Well, there you go. There you go. Some guy with cancer for $2. And by the way, I saw your comment. Once again, congrats on that, man. Good fucking news out there for you, buddy. It says $2.50 cans. Is that Kayla's rate too? I don't know. Very funny. Very funny. Yes, Nick is like, Lord, I see what you do for Aaron. I wish you could do that for me. Well, actually, Nick doesn't, that wouldn't work that way because Nick's like, Lord, God. And then that guy, Jesus, but like, you're not really God and you're just some bro, apparently, from what I understand, from Nick's limited understanding of Christianity. So I don't know how that prayer is going to go. That prayer won't get answered. Oh. Hold on 1 second, chat. All right. All right, guys. So that is let's see what else we got here. Catch up. Aaron wants to split it up for a weekend so he can get strip searched more. Yeah, I know. Aaron's gonna walk in there and be like, he's gonna walk into the cell and he's like, hold on, let me squat down and cough. Sir, they're like, sir, we have a scanner for that. And Aaron's like, I don't want to risk that. He's like, I like the old methods. He just starts coughing. Like duck walks. As soon as he walks into the jail. Oh my God, that'd be so funny. So, where's the naked twister? Well, I don't know. I don't know which cell block he's going to be in, but that's where it's going to be. Oh. He's going to do some jumping jacks. Yes. How else is he going to sneak in the twister, Matt? Oof, that's a lot to shove up in there. Yes. So yeah, Aaron's going to drop everybody's soap. Yeah, he's going to walk through the whole shower and go, oops. Let me think. No. All right, guys, let's move on from there. That's enough. But that's probably, until Aaron fucks up on probation or something happens, that's the end of the saga for now. That's the saga for now. So we'll probably be back to this. We'll probably have the steel toe probation violation show at some point. That's going to be a thing there. Yes, the whole sordid affair. Yes. For right now, I think we fully answered the Rekieta question, the RQ, as it were. Let me see here. So let's get going. Moving on from there, guys. God, that was long enough. The state of Texas, and this is something not only Texas, but some other schools have dealt with. In many of these states, to take the bar exam, you have to have gone to an ABA, the American Bar Association, accredited school. Now, this is where it's funny because the American Bar Association is not like a mandatory organization. It's a voluntary thing you can join. And there's no real need for that if you're already a member of like your state bar association. And the American Bar Association is very left-leaning. It's basically inundated with communists. But they accredit law schools. And those law schools are the ones that you then can apply to get your degree from. And then, for example, in Texas, you would take the Texas bar. Well, what has happened? Well, in Texas and in other states, they are starting to look at that and say, why do we need this for the oversight of our law schools? What actually do we need there? What do we need there? Why doesn't the court itself determine that? Because ultimately, we're the ones letting these people sit for our bar exam. Who gives a shit what the ABA wants? The Texas Supreme Court should be the one deciding, is this a good enough law school to do it? It's something that I think, it's actually kind of important. I think it's very important. I'm sure the ABA is shitting their pants. But it's it's something that why are they doing this? Why does the ABA but it's because the ABA is super left leaning. They have launched diversity mandates, and the ABA hasn't done a lot of political engagement that's not from the left, that's not from the right, it's on the left. I mean, basically it's all on the left. And it's, why are we having this institution, this organization do this? It makes no sense. And it's only been doing it since 1983. It's not like it's been doing it forever. And, for example, Texas is like the first state really moving forward on it. Ohio, Florida, Tennessee, other ones are doing it. But this is what the Texas Supreme Court has come up here with. And it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing because they aren't saying why it's happening. But yes, the ABA is a bunch of cocksuckers, and they interfere with stuff. And they're trying to, if you don't do what they want, well, you're not accredited anymore. And if you're not accredited, that's kind of the death knell of you as a law school, because no states will accept you. So they talk about the rules governing admission to the Bar of Texas. So they point out some things here, and they say they invited comments on the law school accreditation, and they requested feedback on things here, reducing or ending the reliance on the American Bar Association and alternatives. And they say after consideration, including the review, the court is of the tentative opinion that the ABA should no longer have the final say on whether its law school's graduates are eligible to sit for the Texas bar exam and become licensed to practice in Texas. And I think that's fair. You know who should decide who's allowed to sit for the bar in Texas? Fucking Texas. Fucking Texas. Yeah, they basically, any judge Trump nominates, they're fucking awful. It's like, this is another step in lawfare, though, and people are fighting back. And you might say this is dull, but this has massive fucking implications. The ABA is part of the Democrat lawfare machine. They have money and power and influence, and taking that away is a massive fucking step. So you might say it's dull, but there are fucking battle lines being drawn, and there are wars being waged. And this is a war that I've known about. This is a war being waged right now in my state, and I want to win this. Fuck the American Bar Association. Fuck these communists. I think it should be done. There's multiple ways you fight back and strike at the left. There are multiple ways, and this is a very effective way. So, how much do the schools funnel the ABA for accreditation? I don't know, but I'm sure it's a shitload. Yes, it's the invisible war. It is. Yes. And it's a shadow war. It's a shadow war. I mean, now it's coming to light, but this has been fought in the shadows for a while now. Yes. A political entity decides if your law school is a law school. Yeah. And, they talk about, they propose amendments, and the court invites, comments. So they do a public comment period, and they'll issue an order finalizing the amendments after the close of the period. The amendments will take effect January 1st. And the commenters and other parties are advised the court in reasserting its authority over the approval of law schools. It intends to preserve the portability of Texas law school degrees into other states. and to preserve the portability of out-of-state law school degrees into Texas. And that's the thing, because if Texas says we no longer care about the ABA accreditation, if you go to the University of Texas at Austin for law school, which is, one of the top 20 law schools in America, but you come here to Ohio and try to take the bar, Ohio's going to say, you're not ABA accredited. Sorry. But this is going to require them to talk to the Supreme Court of Ohio. And other states say, what can we do to make you guys chill with this? And some of these states might say, there's nothing you could do. We like sucking the ABA's dick. Some of them might say, hey, look, you know what? Let us know what your standards are and we'll evaluate them. And they might say, hey, your standards are cool. Or they might say, yeah, your standards, can you fix X, Y, and Z for us? Who knows? Who knows? They're not looking to impose additional accreditation. Or administrative burdens on approved law schools, which need not take any additional action in order to remain approved. They intend to provide stability, certainty, and flexibility to currently approved schools by guaranteeing ongoing approval to schools that satisfy a simple, objective, and ideologically neutral criteria, such as a bar exam passage rate, using metrics no more onerous than those currently required. They will not consider the fact the school loses ABA accreditation to be grounds for removal from the list of approved law schools. And they intend to work in consultation with the Board of Law Examiners, and who are the people who put the bar together, approach to requests from law schools not currently accredited that wish to be added to Texas list. And there really aren't many non-ABA accredited law schools. They're in California. There are a couple of them that are out there, but most of them are not. Like, most of them are. There's only a handful that aren't. They don't anticipate immediate changes, and they may consider in the future returning to greater reliance on a multi-state accrediting entity other than the ABA, should that become available. But for right now, they don't. So they also say they're publishing this. They're talking about all this here, and they're submitting a copy. But they talk about, here are the list of frequently, they say approved law school means that a school approved by the Supreme Court of Texas. That's what it should be. That's the people who should be in charge of your fucking law accreditation, not some fucking faggots in the American Bar Association. So what do you want to do? Here's the list of approved law schools. Below are the ones that satisfy as the law study requirements for admission. So, I mean, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of schools here. There's a lot of them. You go through all these, like, look at all these places. This is, and you might say, well, how many law schools is this? This is like all of them anyway. All the ones that people pretty much would apply to start with. And you get through all these, you look through everything here, and go on and on and on and on and on. Where is, oh, look, Nick's school's on the list too. Sweet. He could go practice in Texas. And then going on here, and then look, Toledo. Oh, thank God Toledo made it, chat. Toledo made it. Thank God. Thank God, chat. Thank God. Every time Sean says ABA, replace it with Jewish organization. Stacy says, name all top 20 law schools. It's kind of like a list that varies a lot, but you've got like Harvard, Yale, Columbia, Berkeley, also known as Bolt Hall. And then you've got some other, like, those are like the top couple. Michigan's one of the better law schools in America. What else would there be? Harvard, Yale, Columbia. Well, I'm gonna have to cheat and look at the list here to come up with some of the other ones. Virginia is a big one. Virginia's a very good one. I think Texas at Austin is a good big one there. Trying to think. What are some of the other good ones there? I can't remember. You might say, what are the Judge Advocate General School? That is, for the military. So that would work. Notre Dame is a big one. Northwestern, those are there. Ohio State's pretty high up there. Let's see. I think NYU's on that list, the top 20. Illinois, Chicago is one. George Mason, Georgetown, George Washington are all up there. Let's see what else would be up there at the top. Cornell is going to be a huge one. You know, all the Ivy Leagues are definitely on that list. Chicago. Yeah, it would be Chicago there, not the Illinois Chicago. But the University of Chicago. Yeah. Berkeley. Actually trying to think what else was there. Can't think of the rest of them off the top of my head, but it's quite a few schools. Hold on one second. What's that, babe? Case? I don't think Case is top 20. So, but yes, Case Western, it's here in Cleveland. That's a high ranking school, but it's not top 20. But were you saying this is a meme, or were you curious to know what the top 20 are? If you go to like US News and World Report, they're the ones who do the rankings of law schools. So, is Duke on the top 20? Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see here. Am I naming Jewish universities? Yeah, Stanford would be one. Penn would be another one. Purdue, no, not at all. Brown doesn't have a law school. Brown does not have a law school. Did you apply to any top schools? No. My LSAT score was not good enough for those schools. And yeah, just so you guys understand, we'll just cheat. Here are the top 25 the best law schools in America, ranked by US News and World Report. They're the kind of the ones you go off of all the stuff here. Yeah, so for example, here you go. We'll go through these just real quick so you guys understand, like, this is a big fucking thing. Stanford's number one. 76 grand a year, full time. And the median LSAT score is 173 for full time. And I doubt there's really much of a part-time program at Stanford. Yale, LSAT median, 174. University of Chicago, 173. University of Virginia, 172. University, Penn, 172. Duke's wow. Duke's climbed up there pretty far. They're usually not the top 10 or the top 5. Harvard, 174. And remember, 180 is the high is the high score. That's the median is 174. So remember, that's the median. NYU, 172. And look, 83 grand a year for fucking NYU. University of Michigan at Ann Arbor. Because there is another University of Michigan law school you can go to, but it's not the same thing. 171 LSAT. Columbia, number 10, 173. Northwestern, 172. UCLA is number 12. I didn't realize that this year. University, Berkeley, 170. Georgetown, Austin. Vanderbilt. Fuck. That's interesting. Was not expecting that. University of Washington, St. Louis. Wow. Interesting. Cornell. UNC. That's impressive. Minnesota. Impressive. Notre Dame. I wasn't relying. Minnesota, I knew it was good, but I didn't know it was that good. Wow. Boston. Texas A&M. University of Georgia. Georgia's actually a pretty good law school. Boston College is a pretty good one. USC. Yep. Wake Forest. Brigham Young, Ohio State, like I said, they're up there, but yeah, slipping a little bit. See where Toledo goes. I'm kind of not really wanting to look. But yeah, George Mason, George Washington, University of Alabama, that's where Floodbusters went. University of Utah, William and Mary. That is a beautiful campus if you ever get a chance to go to it. University of Iowa. Iowa is known for having a pretty good school. Washington and Lee is also a very beautiful campus to go to. Very nice there. Florida State, Fordham, Irving, Cal Irvine. I think UC Irvine's the Anteaters. It is the Anteaters. Yep, there we are. University of Florida. I think it's where Mindset went. Baylor, SMU, Arizona State. Yes, and it's the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law. That's where she went. Indiana has always had a pretty good law school. Boulder's got a pretty good law school. Illinois, Urbana, really? I wouldn't have thought that one. Villanova, okay. Temple, yeah. UC Davis, Connecticut, Kansas, Washington, blah, Pepperdine. That's where fucking Alan Jackson went to. Tennessee, Knoxville, Missouri, San Diego, Marquette, Penn State. That's actually slipped. They used to be really high up there. University of Oklahoma, Arizona, St. John's. Don't care about these places. Don't care about these. Where's mine? Let's see. Cincinnati. Wow, they climbed up pretty good. They were a dumper for a while. University of Richmond, Drexel. Not that Drexel, chat. This is in Philly. At Drexel Law School, they're taught to object by going, Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor. Judge. Pitt used to be like higher up than it was now, but that's so. God, it's been a long time. It's like almost 20 years since I started law school. Fuck, I'm getting old. I am getting old, man. I'm getting old. University of Denver, Maine, Duquesne, Regents, Buffalo. Man, don't care. Rutgers, Case Western. Wow, they fucking fell far, dude. Case Western used to be a lot higher up. Let's see. We're getting close, Chad. I can smell Toledo. We're coming up to it. Syracuse, Dayton's not bad. Michigan State, Albany, Brooklyn, Wyoming, West Virginia, Cleveland State. Oof, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, chat. Ole Miss. Ooh, man. That's rough. Ole Miss used to be a lot higher up. $19,000 in state. Ooh, that's beautiful. I will say, if you guys have never been to a great campus, Ole Miss is a beautiful college campus. Let's see here. I'm kind of curious. University of Akron. Kurt went there. I know that. DePaul, blah, 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 blah. Northern Kentucky. It's the only law school not in Ohio where you're considered an Ohio law school. Let's see. South Collin. Come on. Where's Toledo? Come on. Toledo's got to be. How many more? Yeah, there we go. University of Toledo. Tied for 150. Wow, the median LSAT went down a little bit since I was there. Ugh. Still above Mitchell Hamline. That's right. That's right. And then above the Long Island SUNY Law School. Above Elon. Wow. There we go. And then, let's see. Better than North Dakota. Vermont. Let's see. What else is there? How many more fucking schools can there be left? Also, I kind of want to know is, oh, wow. Capital fucking slid hard. They used to be a lot higher ranked than when I was in school. Cooley. Wow, Cooley's not bringing up the rear, chat. Cooley used to be known as like the bottom. Cooley was known as like the worst. And yeah, see, like you notice when you get to this point, you can have below 150 and still go to law school. You can definitely do that. So, wow, Ohio Northern. Oof. That's rough. Anyways, I got to the point I wanted to get to there. Now explain how these are ranked by. It's all a bunch of bullshit, but they talk about like GPAs, median LSATs. You know, how do people get hired? You know, the rate that their graduates get hired out of law school is always a big thing as well. Who are the bottom 5? I don't know. I don't care. Toledo's not in it anymore. That's all that matters. Toledo's not in the bottom, and it's not all the way in the toilet. It's on the edge of the toilet, hanging on for dear life. So there we go. We need less lawyers, not more. Well, that there is actually law schools are suffering. Law schools are getting very concerned fiscally about what to do because there have been fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer people applying. Law schools are really suffering right now. Law schools are really suffering. As far as things are concerned. So there's actually shortages of lawyers. For example, in Ohio, there's a program right now in the rural areas of Ohio, which means most of Ohio. There aren't new attorneys showing up, and they're paying law students like their third, for their summer, their third year. Go be a clerk for a judge in a county that's, in most counties in the rural areas of Ohio, 40 to 50,000 people or lower terms of population. Go out there, network, and then we'll pay for your summer. Like, we'll pay quite a bit for you to go out there and do that, with the idea you then go out there and set up shop and take on business, because there are places where it's actually a problem. Like, there are some counties out here that I deal with where they call because they can't find attorneys in that county for appointed court cases, because they don't have enough attorneys who can handle them. It happens. There are a lot of places that are hurting right now. So court, the idea there were a glut of lawyers, there were, but all these boomers are retiring and dying. It happened so fast, and it's slowing down. So Stacey says most lawyers don't make big money. Well, the old idea that go to law school, become a lawyer, you'll become a rich man, that's 70 some odd years out of date. It doesn't work like that anymore. You got to work your ass off to get stuff. Similar with the Dakotas and Western Kansas. It's in a lot of areas. Ag says it makes you think there's a lot of lawyers available. Well, I mean, there are a lot of lawyers, but it depends on what you're doing and where you live. So, Scary Map is all the counties without a doctor. Yeah. Yep. David's, COVID gutted small firms and solo practice in my area. Most people survived out here where I'm at. A lot, people survived, but I can see in a lot of places it probably killed them. So, J-Rock says, I went to law school and became a rich man. Well, yes, but the idea that just by becoming a lawyer, you would just default, there have been now too many lawyers. You actually have to do well and be good, and it just doesn't work that way. Of just, I am lawyer, therefore I am rich. I mean, 100 years ago when there weren't that many lawyers, you could kind of get away with that. So, let's see. There's also lots of people at JD's that don't practice law. Correct. Hunter Biden got rich. Yeah, well, and J-Rex, I bought Tesla 12 years ago. Well, that helps a lot. They pretty much didn't have court here for 3 years. Woof. Yeah, some places are like that. I get it. Tolt Monkey says, I would never want to be a trial lawyer. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to work in a fucking office all the time. That would be hell. I mean, I understand not want to do it all the time, but you got to get mud on your boots at least once, man. Once in a while. I just, that's you want to be the pony that goes to the fairgrounds and just walks around the circle and little kids ride your back? Or do you want to be the one that's using a cavalry charge? There's a little bit of, there's something said about the heat of battle once in a while. Your healthcare company, in-house counsel, baby. I mean, that said, though, that's the great part. That's, you're not hunting down food. You're not always on the prowl to kill. There's a big advantage to that. You're not out there wandering in the rain, wondering where the next thing you can kill is. There's a lot to be said about that. Cavalry horses tend to get killed. Yeah, but you go out doing it. So, How many slurs do I hear on a daily basis? Not that many. Not that many. Not that many. Most people, when they're in court, know to, you know, most people, even today, know like they got to be on their manners in court. So, reviewing contracts is gay, though. Well, that's what I'm. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, yeah, that part sucks. But you got a 9 to 5, and then you get the fucking clock out at 5. You're not going to get a phone call probably at 2 a.m, and then have to go handle shit or glad hand somebody and see if they'll hire you. You get the work done and you go home. So yeah, PI sucks. It's expensive too now. Yeah. If you're doing personal injury, like I said, those guys who do it, the guys around your billboards of where you live, wherever you live, if like you're in Ohio, you see Tim Misney everywhere, or Elk and Elk, or even Morgan and Morgan. Those guys do so much fucking it's deadliest catch. Like you seriously, you're throwing out pot after pot after pot after pot after pot, and you are hustling your ass to scrape up all the crabs you can find. Like it is those guys. Whoa. Yeah, PI is a thing, man. It's volume, and I'm sure, call up Peter Tragos for your personal injury needs. Yeah, you know what? I guarantee you Peter would tell you that, man. It's you can try to pick and choose your cases that come in your door, but it's not just straight dubs all the time. There's a lot of goose eggs. There's a lot of L's you take. Like it happens a lot. So it's a whole different game. It's a whole different game. But I mean, just the law in general is kind of a rough game at times. All right, guys, moving on from that. Now we talked a bunch of bullshit about law schools. Keith Urban. This is something 2.0 was telling me about, and I was like, I thought she was fucking with me. But remember, Keith Urban, guys. Yes, when you think of country music, you think of some guy that goes, "Good day, mate. We're from Australia, and I'm going to sing you a song." Because that's what you think of a country music is Keith Urban. Well, Keith Urban was married to Nicole Kidman, and they had their own monies, but they had a prenup. And they're getting divorced. It looks like. And yes, there's something in the prenup called the cocaine clause, and I didn't know this. About Keith Urban, but apparently Keith Urban and Nick both have a shared love of riding the white stallion, as it were, or the nose candy, or the booger sugar, or the la cocaína, whatever you wish to call it. But they have a combined net worth of $325 million, which I thought it'd be a lot more than that. But I mean, Taylor Swift's beating their ass in it. So when they have a lot at stake, and they say Nicole Kidman's got an estimated worth of $250. Filed for divorce from Keith Urban after 19 years of marriage. And they say, despite Kim making, she's only 58. I thought she was older. It was Keith, who's only worth 75, who initiated the split. He's already dating. Their couple's monthly income is at $100,000 each. What the lawyers now to sit down and crunch the numbers, and yeah, it's going to be a lot there. Much of this will be determined by their prenups when they got married, which now Keith Urban can walk away with $17 million on top of what he's got. And if you guys don't remember Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, there you go. I kind of find it hard if you don't know what they look like. So he signed an agreement which he gets $900,000 for every year of marriage. But he had a cocaine clause, which he's only eligible for if he steered clear of drugs and alcohol. I knew Keith Urban had like a drinking problem. I didn't know he had a cocaine problem. Like, when the fuck did that happen? But I didn't realize he had I was in college with him, so I don't really pay attention. But he revealed that it was his wife who staged his interventions. And she won't be walking away from the divorce empty-handed. So they have to divvy up their assets. This is them back and then. So they have 6 apartments in a single high-rise block in Sydney. Jesus Christ. They bought a 420 this only says 420 square foot apartment for $6 million. 3 years later, square meter. That's square meter. So that's pretty fucking huge. They've bought a lot of stuff. They have all kinds of fucking money. They have a sprawling estate that was for $6.5 million. It's located on 45 hectares. Chat, you're like, we don't do that in America. We use acres, correct. 145 kilometers from Sydney, near the town of Bunya. Bunya. It's not near the town of... I'm not going to lie, chat, this is really a place. This is really the name of a place. Hold on here. This is really a place in Queensland. They actually have a name for They have a name for a place. It's a small island in the far north of Queensland. And it's because there was a coral outcrop and they were known as knickerheads. Oh. So they never renamed it. It's been unnamed. Yes. 1 hectare is 2.5 acres. There's also the hard R bounce. Yes. There's a couple things in Queensland, Australia. That's where Bluey's from, chat. Bluey is racist, chat. N. The next that would be funny. This episode of Bluey is called Fatigue. Oh, yeah. Yes. So they've got a lot to go on. They've got a lot to do here. They've got all kinds of stuff. They have a 20-room mansion in Nashville. Like, they've got, all this shit is going to be hard to divvy up. They're going to have to do child support. They got 2 kids. Sunday Rose is like, geez, these people fucking ruin their kids with names. Then Faith Margaret, that's not a bad name. But yeah, they got a couple of kids. Neither party will receive monthly child support, as Keith has already prepaid all of his child support. I will say, if that is the most boss thing ever. You're like, it's kind of like Jay Moore when he's talked about it before. He's like, I wrote a fucking check and I was done. And he's just like, here you go, Nicole, take my fucking money. And he's like, get out of here. There's a small fight going on at Portland's Ice. Wow. Well, there we go. Hopefully the feds are having fun. Oh. They use surrogacy. I was going to say, how the fuck did they do all that? But anyways. Yeah, he got 20% off for prepaying the child support in a lump sum. Yeah. But, I mean, there's all kinds of things you have to consider. There's already a parenting plan they've agreed to where she gets 306 days while Keith gets 59. It's like Keith Urban's on the steel toe plan. Well, actually, is that every other weekend, or does he get every weekend, or just every other weekend? It's like Aaron's like Keith Urban, chat. They both did cocaine. Keith as a kid, this is a pretty normal thing here. This is also a normal thing where you get to do holidays. There's parenting schedules, court set up where, Mother's Day, mom gets them, Father's Day, dad gets them. But then the holidays, they alternate. Thanksgiving one year, other year. If you have Thanksgiving, they get Christmas. If they get Christmas, they get Christmas Eve. Like, they break it up very, very deliberately if they can't agree to stuff. So the interesting part there's another part for Keith Urban. The cocaine clause. Keith Urban would earn $600,000 every year they were married if he remained sober. That is so fucking hilarious. That is so fucking hilarious. Like, that's a lot of reasons not to get high. That's a lot of reasons not to get high. So, Yeah, there you go. It's interesting how this all works. Let's see here. I would put the child support aside to invest. Yeah, they both did cocaine and have an ex-wife who was more successful. Oh no, chat. That's rough. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. He's got every other, so he's just like Keith Urban. He's just like Keith Urban. So let me see here. Let's see. Yeah, Keith Urban has a hell of a guitar collection. I bet he does. I bet he does. It's crazy to put in a clause where they can only cash out money if they separate. Well, I mean, like, but that's part of it wasn't meant for that. It's meant for I want him to stay sober, so I'll pay him to be sober. I mean, that's never something you see like that. Did she have him test frequently? Maybe she did. I don't know I don't know what the terms of it were. Maybe that was part of it. Certainly, though, it depends on how much Nicole wants to fight. But she could be like, I know he was doing cocaine all the time. Like it's gonna be great. Like I could see that totally happening. It depends on what they're gonna do. It depends on how they're gonna fight this. It depends on how they're gonna fight. Um, uh well, apparently, guys, we're gonna go to real quick to see what's going on in Portland. Hold on here. Let's see real quick. What's going on with Portland, Andy? Is there gonna be a fight? Oh, there's like Cookie Monster. Oh, Cookie Monster gets hit with some beanbag rounds. Like they're not. There's no fighting yet. There's no fighting. Looks like some people were jawing off, but
Stay out of the area of the driveway to allow for vehicular traffic. Remain on the sidewalk or across the street. Anyone, to include the press, trespassing on federal property is subject to arrest.
So there's the guy who's wearing like a Charlie Kirk shirt. He's tweaking off all the Antifa people. Nothing's really happening, guys. Nothing really is happening here. Yeah, it's only 8 p.m. chat, so they'll do stuff later. See them down by the stop sign. Who am I looking for? Yeah, I see them. He's right here. Yeah, I see it. Nothing's happening here. Nothing's happening. Yes, the voice of Jeebus. I am the law. Jackpot says Portland Andy sent me. Well, thank you, Jackpot. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay. So yeah, that's where we go there. But yeah, these prenups, these things are they can be there's a lot that can happen with those. There's a lot that can happen. A lot that can happen there. Do you see the guy got held at gunpoint at a Charlie Kirk vigil? No, I did not see that. I did not see that. Is the Cookie Monster considered a furry? I don't know, but I'm sure the beanbag rounds impact just the same. Okay. Moving on from there, chat. Yes, if you guys remember Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the brave Maryland man, who happened to be from El Salvador and was running from the evil Papusa gangs that were terrorizing him all throughout the world. The Maryland father. Well, we've got some news on him. Guys, remember, this is him. Remember when they interviewed him, he couldn't talk a lick of English. Well, this is the guy that, to be fair, he was sent illegally to El Salvador. He claims he was tortured and stuff, but we don't see any proof of it. There's never been any proof admitted that he was tortured. There's no marks on him that we've ever seen. But he did have an order saying he wasn't allowed to go to El Salvador, and the government defied that court order. And I agree, and I said this before, and I know a lot of people got mad. He was entitled to due process to have that hearing removed. I understand you were saying Guatemala, but here's the problem. Everybody in court On the court record, the government conceded it was El Salvador, and the court determined it was El Salvador. If everybody's agreed to that fact, that's the fact in the matter. Was there? Oh wait, there was a fight in Portland. All right, we'll go to this real quick. Hold on, chat. I'll see what this is. All right, hold on. Let's see, chat. I'm gonna pull this up. All right, I think looks like there was some sort of fight. Hopefully, it's good. Hopefully, it's good here. Let's see what they got. Let's see what they got.
So I'm gonna defend myself. Get the fuck out of my way. Touch me, faggot. I thought you guys were tolerant of gays.
Wait, yeah, why is this guy calling people faggot? Isn't that like a big deal for the commies?
Get the fuck out of my way. Touch me, faggot. I thought you guys were tolerant of gays.
Oh.
Wait a minute. I can't play. I'm going to tell you a minute. One thing. Whoa. Wait a minute.
What's up?
Come on, get him. Get him for America. Whoa, he's toying with them. Okay, so this guy's just throwing haymakers, and this guy's toying with them. I don't think our boy's gonna win the fight, chat.
What the fuck are you doing?
Oh.
Nah, fuck you. Get away from me, bro.
Sleep, bitch. Go to sleep, bitch. USA. Fucking took it, bitch.
Somebody have my glasses?
No, you shouldn't have fucking let him up. He should have jacked him again on the ground. Yeah, now he's not fucking talking shit. My glasses.
Oh. Come at me again, bro. Do it again. Put him down again. I mean, again, bro. Do it again, bro. Put him down again.
You got fucking slept by a guy holding a cell phone. Oof. I think that guy got tripped up on the curb, but you got to pay attention to your surroundings.
I'm gonna do it again, bro. Yeah.
Give me this. Where Mac?
Yeah, come on. Do it again, bro. He was kicking me. I defended myself. I'm not hiding. I'm right here.
Yeah, this guy's 100% protected. Like, he started getting kicked, so.
Yeah, you're bleeding from your face too, bro. Yeah, how you feel? Good. I feel fucking great right now. Yes.
Main C super chatted $5.
I like this chat. Good night. Are they going to do more? Let's see. This guy, though, here's the problem for him. This is why you don't go out on your own. All these cocksuckers will beat him to death if they get the chance. These are all fucking evil fucking people. So, I mean, while it's based he made that guy hurt, they will try to kill him probably. Like, there's a good chance they could. So, I mean, that's the risk he takes now.
Yesterday, turning point. Sad, really good phone shot.
Here we go. Oh, here we go.
What? He's behind the line.
Sir, get off federal property.
You're looking up, brother.
Where the? Come on, Andy, move. I want to see what they did.
Oh shit!
Oh, tell me they're gonna fucking hit
That's
that
my
guy,
fault.
take him out.
I'm on a damn angle.
Yes, suck dick, commie. Tell me they just fucking pepperball him and just take him down, please, God.
Portland now, right?
Do you guys actually, you know, have city responsibilities?
This guy needs to start playing Baked Alaska. We love our cops. We love our law enforcement. We love our military. They're important. Let's see here.
You want to press charges on me for you hitting me first?
He said, I want to press charges. Oh, what a faggot.
Don't do this again, bro. I swear.
Come on, Andy. Let's see this. Let's see this.
We got back up and not fight. Okay. Yeah. Let's go step out here. That ain't their problem.
This is the problem. Now this guy's stuck. This is his problem.
Yeah, not. I wouldn't be either.
Let's see here. And blah, 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 blah.
There's something wrong with your brain.
Come on, like.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Sir, coming up on you. Good back.
Oh, there we go.
Oh shit!
I'm not resisting. I'm just not gonna lie.
Keep back.
Oh, pussy. What a little bitch. He won't even fight the government. He pulled a Ricada and turned over and said, please don't hurt me, Mr. Policeman. He threw it on the ground.
They both got to pick him.
They took them both. They took them both. I wonder if they're going to take him and just give him a car ride out to where the fuck he's from, because this ain't a safe way to do this. You can't fight alone. It's dangerous as hell. So, there we go, chat. That was the fight. That was a good interspersal of things. Do you see his right eye? Yeah, that guy got fucked up, man. Yeah. No, did the cop Vulcan sleep him? No, he just fell over and he's like, he's passively resisting. So, yeah, quick do CPR, Sar. Oh. So, but yeah, you don't go tar jousting by yourself. Bring your friends, because it's never a good idea. Real quick, Panzer Dude says, what if he was packing? It would be very retarded to go tar jousting like that armed. Because now you've inserted yourself in a situation where you're probably going to have to defend yourself. So no, don't bring your guns if you're going to go tar joust. If you're going to go tar joust, don't bring a gun. You know, like that guy was willing to get into a fight. Guy was willing to get into a fight. So Walter Malone for $5 says, that was for Charlie. Yes. Suffer, Kami, suffer. Yeah, you don't go do that with the CCW on. Yeah. Because here's the deal. I don't care if you're in Portland. Most people, remember, your jury's going to be normies. So they're going to see you went to a protest where you're probably going to have to fight. You went there by yourself. You were taunting people. Those people and you started getting into a fist fight and you started getting your ass kicked. They're not going to be thrilled that you then pull out your gun and kill somebody. Remember, the normies are going to be horrified that you did this. So be very careful about that. Like, I don't recommend it. If you're going to go tar joust, it doesn't matter what town you're in. You could do this here in Cleveland. Don't do it. Juries are going to think you're a fucking evil person for doing that. So I'm just telling you. So real quick, guys, we're going to catch up on some things here. JBO5 says, won't California and New York just refuse to acknowledge Texas degrees without ABA accreditation? I'm sure that they're going to try to work, all they're saying is, we don't care if they're ABA accredited or not. So those schools could still seek out ABA accreditation. It's just the state of the Texas Supreme Court doesn't care about it. So, but yeah, like we could start seeing that happen. We're already seeing that happen where we're going to have like the separate economies and the dual economies. And, you know, there's going to be the red state school, like the red state bar associations and the blue state bar association. We're going to have all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah, I could easily see that happening. So I could easily see that happening. That's a very good point. It'll kind of work with that. So, so let's see here. Let's get back to Kilmar. Let's get back to Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So, guys, remember, this is the Maryland man, the brave Maryland man who got sent down. And remember, he had to have his court hearing, and they didn't give it to him. And they brought him back, and now he got all the due process he can handle. Because an immigration judge has denied his bid to reopen his immigration case. And remember, an immigration judge is not a Article 3 judge. It's an Article 2 judge. It's called an administrative law judge. It's a person who works for the Immigration and Naturalization Service. Like you work for the Department of Homeland Security. You are not a Senate confirmed and presidentially nominated judge. You're just a regular GS employee. So the judges have said that, you know what? And I love how they say he was mistakenly deported. It's interesting. They're not saying he was intentionally deported because he was intentionally. Like they did it. But yes, then he got brought back to the U.S. to face his criminal charges for human trafficking. Well, anyways, they asked an immigration judge to reopen it and allow him to seek asylum. That bid got denied, and he could appeal it to the Board of Immigration Appeals, which is also part of the Immigration Service. That's it. It's not it's not going to like the Court of Appeals like that. So he's trying to fight his deportation, but remember, he is facing going to Uganda. He's also possibly going to Swaziland, also known as Eswatini. And you know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting what happens to him. But remember, he got all the due process he wanted. And now he's going to get thrown away by the immigration movement like a cum rag. And remember, we went over these letters before where the Department of Justice had said, look, we could send you to anywhere in Central America. And he's like, no, ay. It's too scary, man. Muy scary in those places. They said, how about South America? No, I not want to go there. So they're like, fine, we'll send you to Africa. No! Well, too fucking bad. How's Uganda work? Hey, Uganda's one of the two languages of Uganda is English, just like here in America. He'll be fine. Mamdani, yes. Zoran Mamdani is from Uganda. It can't be that bad. El Salvador doesn't sound so bad right now. I'm sure it doesn't for him, but it's too late. He is getting afuera. Monster afuera. Send him to some island little nation. Yeah, send him to Sierra Leone. Yeah, let him send him to Sierra Leone. He could work for General Butt Naked. That'd be great. He'll have to learn how to eat with his hands. Yes. Yes. So, Granola says he was classified as a terrorist, so the home country ban is not in effect. He was challenging his terrorist designation. And anyway, the government went ahead and removed that prohibition anyway. So the government, remember, they still had to give him that hearing. That was part of his due process issue, which I think was correct. He had the right to challenge that hearing. So, let's see here. He might have to spend some Bitcoin. Yeah. I want to be a fuera to Sweden or Poland. Why do you want to go to Sweden? It's full. Like, you really want to go hang out with all the guys named Ahmed in Sweden? That doesn't sound like a good idea, man. Doesn't sound like a good idea. Yeah, the feds asked his lawyer which countries are not going to work, and then they just found a country not on the list. Yeah. Yep. Such a shame. Such a shame. So it's his fault. It's his fault. I feel no pity for him. I do like, there's just all the adios. I do like this.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Nasty little, I'll tell you, nasty people.
I love that. Is Trump tossing him?
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Oh, hold on.
Nasty little, I'll tell you, nasty people.
Sorry.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Nasty little, I'll tell you, nasty people.
So, very funny. Very, very funny. Very funny. He's got to get deported. Got to go bye-bye. There you go. He looks so sad, but he looks so happy. So does this guy. He's happy. And this guy's very happy. So it must have worked out. So, yes, he gets to go away. Oh, yeah. Yes. Bye-bye. 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 He gets to go bye-bye in the car. It wasn't a Sean stream until the audio wasn't shared. Yeah, I know, but we got almost 2 hours in, so Safa. Chat. So, yes. Si deportada. So, oh, yeah. There you go, chat. So that's some good news there. On further immigration news, this is going to be kind of interesting here. Further immigration news. Hold on here. Sorry, I'm deleting as I go here, chat. There was something weird that happened when I read about this. I was like, what the fuck happened? But this is a real thing. The superintendent of the Des Moines, or Des Moines, I don't know how you want to say it. Des Moines, Iowa. The superintendent of the Des Moines City School District has been on the run from the government, as an illegal alien for 20 years. And somehow he got all these jobs without having valid immigration papers. This is fucking insane. This is absolutely insane. It's hysterical, yes. But it makes you say, what the fuck? How did this guy stay this long? But anyways, his name's Ian Roberts. This is him. And, it's just, he's the former public school superintendent. Not just the principal, the superintendent. And what happened? Well, he got caught being without legal status. And, he's been the superintendent since 2023. But he was detained by ICE. And part of his issue is he's from Guyana, which is in South America. And he's been working without authorization and had been ordered deported in 2024. His arrest came as a shock to everybody. Man. And some of you might say, well, he would got caught with a gun. Yes, if you are not a resident alien, meaning if you don't have a green card or a specific, I think there are some visas that allow for it. I don't recall off the top of my head. But basically, if you don't have a green card, you can't possess guns in the United States. You can handle them. If I'm at the range with you, I could let you if you're a visitor, you can handle a gun, but you can't just run around and keep it yourself. You can't buy a firearm. If you have a green card, like if you guys look at a 4473, there are special things to deal with if you are not a U.S. citizen, but you have a green card. There's a whole thing you have to fill out. Yeah, the Biden admin ordered the deportation. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Katie says, but what's his real name? Well, no, it's you can have a name like that in Guyana. It's it's a British. It was part of the British Commonwealth. Like their official language is English. So, like, it's like that would have been a name it's like being in Jamaica. You can have a name like that. So, it's just so fucking weird. It's so fucking weird. Yes, it's a civil rights victory of our time. Yeah. But how did this guy get bank accounts? How did this guy do anything? Like, you get a bank account and you're in yeah, I just don't understand. I don't understand how this worked. But he did. I mean, it's just weird. So they talk about it, he says, I think the government's doing what we're doing. We're trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Yeah. They say that Dr. Roberts was seeking to have his deportation order stayed, and he was trying to reopen his case. It's too fucking late now, man. But they bring up, and we're gonna he got charged, and we're gonna go through his complaint because it's interesting. It's interesting, and they lay it all out. So he got charged in the district court for the Southern District of Iowa, and he's facing a count of 922 G5 and 18 USC 924 G8, and those are being an illegal alien in possession of firearms. Remember that under 18 USC 922 G, it lists all those things, and one of them is you are not a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. So they talk about his, here's the complaint. So we don't really care about all this stuff here. We care about the probable cause. And they say an alien is not somebody who is a citizen or national of the United States. And they say G5 applies to aliens who are here illegally or unlawfully in the U.S. or have been admitted under a non-immigration visa. And that's the big thing here. So, and there are various classes of non-immigration visas who are prohibited possessors of firearms. He was here on a student visa that expired in March of 2004. But they point out in May 2001, May 2018, June 2018, and July 2018, he filed applications to register as permanent residence or adjust his status. That form, I-485, it's what we covered last week for Mahmoud Khalil, or whatever the fuck that guy's name is, the guy who talked all that shit and now is getting deported. You're trying to get your status adjusted. It's about adjustments in immigration law. Every time they got rejected, he got ricated, chat. In addition, in 2018, he applied for it in January 2020, was denied an adjustment based on his marriage to a U.S. citizen because he failed to respond to a request for additional information. You think you'd stay on top of that shit, but apparently he fucked up. Sounds like it's entirely his fault he didn't fuck up. How from 2018 to 2019 and 2019 to 2020, he had lawful employment authorization. How did he have lawful employment authorization if he's been here illegally for like 15 years? That's something I don't understand. How does he not marry to fix this? That doesn't guarantee you're fixed. If you're here illegally, you can't just fix it. Sometimes you're fucked, and that's how, you can't just get married and fix it automatically. But he had a lawful employment. How did he get that? I mean, obviously the Bidens gave it to him, but yeah. He shouldn't have had that. He shouldn't have had that, but he did. So according to records, he was ordered removed from the United States in absentia in 2024, meaning in absentia means he didn't show up for the hearings. They held it without him, and he was going to be kicked out. He got a fuerad without being there. On April 30th, an immigration judge denied his motion to reopen the proceedings. finding he failed to demonstrate he did not receive notice of the hearing. Well, there you go. He said, ain't nobody got time for that. Well, now you do have time for that. And they say, thus, on September 26th, he had a valid and final order of removal and was illegally and unlawfully in the United States. The U.S. Attorney's Office received a letter. The letter from March was addressed to Roberts at an address in Little Elm, Texas, from the attorney who represented Roberts for at least his motion to reopen the proceedings. The letter was also provided to media entities at a press conference in September of 2025. And they say the Texas attorney filed a motion to withdraw as the attorney in January. After filing the motion to reopen in support of the motion to withdraw, the attorney provided a letter sent to Roberts citing an unpaid legal bill, which that's a great reason why your attorney's going to quit working. He's a deadbeat, chat. He doesn't pay his bill. And the same address as the paperwork located in his Des Moines residence. Isn't that interesting? And they say the attorney's motion to withdraw was denied as moot because the case got closed. The letter to Roberts predates the disposition of the motion to reopen, so there was no resolution when the letter was sent. Even if the opening was successful, that would not have granted Roberts lawful status. He was not issued and did not receive documents granting him relief. Roberts did not apply for or receive employment authorization, which he had done previously. And that shows you how fucked up the system is. He keeps on getting authorization, even though he's been here illegally. And they say on the evening of the 30th, the affiants contacted and spoke to his immigration attorney. And they stated the letter was to inform him that his case was being closed. And they said the letter wasn't intended to convey his immigration status with the court, but rather as being closed in her office. And they say, therefore, he's illegally and unlawfully in the United States. So on September 26th, they surveilled him within the state of Iowa. At that time, they were aware Roberts was illegally and unlawfully present. He had a white Jeep Cherokee with Iowa plates, and they stopped him. ICE officers followed the Jeep, which drove at a high rate of speed northbound. The Jeep turned into a mobile trailer park. They located the Cherokee, stopped inside the trailer park. They dressed up with all their vests and their markings. They approached the Jeep, Cherokee on foot. He drove away. Imagine that. After a brief search, the Jeep was found abandoned in the grass near like, imagine that. It's like he knew he was fucked. It's like he knew he was fucked. I mean, at least he wasn't driving a Hellcat. I'm surprised. So they sent the dogs out to help hunt him down. He was hiding in the bushes 200 yards away. So they confirmed his identity. He definitely looked like the guy. You know, they used fingerprint analysis and scanning. So he was with the Jeep until from the schools arrived to take possession of the Cherokee. I don't know why. But anyways, the public safety officer found a firearm wrapped in a towel under the driver's seat, which at least it's got a Glock and it's not a Taurus. He's got a red dot sight on it. Like, I you get points for that in my book. It's a leather holster though, brah. You know, you're losing points again. The firearm was identified as a Glock 19. Once again, you get points back. It was affixed with a red dot and a pistol light. Ooh, buddy. He got the light. Homie's ready to play. So anyways, the emergency trace for the firearm was seized and was submitted. It was purchased by a lady, Lanisha Roberts, at an FFL in Little Rock, Arkansas. She is believed to be Roberts' spouse, according to law enforcement. Uh-oh, I think that counts as a straw purchase. Ooh, buddy. His passport from Guyana was also found with the wallet next to the firearm. According to the passport, it was renewed in 2024 and expired in 2029. Well, there you go. So anyway, they kept on doing more. Well, they found his house. So what did they find? He had a loaded and chambered SIG P320. Bro, no. He's going to kill himself, chat. Oh, oof. He's got it tucked in his fucking couch cushions. It's like, buddy. I mean, fuck. At least have like in that, what's that one movie with like Fat Joe in it where like the shotgun comes like, he like leans back and the shotgun like, and he catches it and he just starts like fucking hosing people down. Like at least have a setup like that. But yeah. He also had a Remington 783 and 270. I mean, that's okay. That's a very FUD gun. That's a very, very FUD gun. But, you know, they got big deer. Can you use a rifle in Iowa? They got big deer out there. And then he has an 870 20 gauge. Nothing wrong with that. That's not a good home defense weapon, though. Like, the Glock 19 is a far better thing there. But they were all located in the residence for firearms magazines for the Glock, a book entitled Concealed Carry and Home Defense Fundamentals. He had a Streamlight pistol flashlight. Once again, more points for a homeboy. The Glocks were found, which contained federal 9mm ammunition and red dots based. 2 firearm declaration tags were also found. And it says that he had been traveling around the United States, which this is just further proof that he had access to them and they were his. She can't say, oh, these are mine. Because the firearms declaration documents say Ian Roberts. Ooh. Once again, Ian Roberts. And now here's the thing. Some of you might say, which I think you might take the Matt LaRosier track and say, well, this shouldn't be illegal. Okay, fine. But in the meantime, it is fucking illegal. So don't be a retard and get caught breaking the fucking law. You know, that would be my only recommendation to people at that point. He had a Ford Mustang. Of course, he's got a Mustang. Parked in the garage, and they dug through that. They said his immigration documents were located on the floor mat, and they contain a copy of the order that he was to be removed. Well, there you fucking go, man. Don't fucking, like, if you're going to get in trouble for this shit, don't keep the documents. Don't keep the fucking documents like that, man. Don't keep the documents. Oh, man. Like, if this shit, like, you know, whatever. So, look here in the residence were copies of his expired passports and his expired employment authorization card. The residence appeared to be occupied by a single individual and no female clothing was located. That's another point to show he was the only one living there, so she can't say, oh, they're all mine. Well, then where the fuck were you? So, they say the examination revealed these firearms had been manufactured outside of Iowa and thus crossed a state line. They point out that shows interstate commerce. The Ford Mustang had plates, track 8. And it's registered to another person, Lakeisha Givens, which just once again shows his connection to Texas. So yeah, there you go. This guy, and here's the order from the immigration court. So it's from May of 2022. And this is just an order of the immigration judge. And this is an order similar to what Kilmar Abrego Garcia is going to have. It talks about the Immigration and Nationality Act, the INA. And notice that it's all under the Department of Homeland Security, the Immigration and Naturalization Service, all that stuff. They've all been folded into DHS. So it's Customs and Immigration Enforcement, like, Immigration Service now. So they talk about the failure to depart. He's subject to a final removal order. And if he willfully fails or refuses to depart from the U.S. pursuant to the order, he fails to make timely applications of good faith for travel or other documents, or he presents himself to be removed. Like, you could show up where they tell you to go, but you can, or you could conspire to take any action to prevent it. You could be punished for that. And that is, telling you what's going to happen. And this is the stuff they found with him. This is the stuff this is the stuff that was found. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. These are all the documents they got a hold of, and they knew he was being removed. So there you go, buddy. Good job. Good job. I still think it's wild. This guy got that far up in his organization and nobody batted an eye. Nobody batted an eye, guys. It's so fucking weird. It's so weird. It's so weird out there, guys. It's so weird. I don't understand. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. But yeah, I guess, I guess. It's so weird, and it's not even funny. It's just so weird. How much cash did he have on him? I don't know. Yeah, documentation's racist. Yeah, he was hired via a third-party headhunter search. It doesn't matter. When you're at work, like you start working for the school, you're going to fill like, hey, here's my direct deposit information. Here's this. Here's my I-9 employment verification. So, yeah. He also attended a doctorate program without receiving a degree. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. Yeah, you still have to do an I-9 form. That was like I said, you have to do an I-9 form regardless. How is he getting paid and paying tax? Well, this guy's paying taxes. Come on now. Yeah, he had a social security number. Yeah. How the hell did he get that too? Chiba says, I got vetted more as a 20-year-old janitor. I don't doubt it for a second. I don't doubt you for a second. So, he had $3K in cash. Johan's like, did he keep changing his job like Case Rothstein in a casino? Yeah. Now he's beverage and hospitality chair. Next time, in a couple months, they take your thing and they put it on the bottom every time. And as you keep moving up, change your job and they put you at the bottom. Now you're the entertainment chair. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, in Maryland voter registration. I know, we were told illegals don't vote. Isn't that funny how that's not happening, but it happened a lot. So, yeah, you have a PhD in refreshments. Make some lean. Now buy you a drink. I still think that's an interesting song. It says a lot about America. Oh. All right, guys. Now moving on from there to a more of a, if you happen to be a gooner, if you are a gooner at all, this is a rough time for you, especially if you're a gooner in Ohio. Ohio passed, and this is now, it's other states have had these, but it just shows you why I don't like this stuff. These laws sound good on their face, but they're not good. They don't end well. So in Ohio, as of the 30th, they want you to verify your identity to look at porn. Which, sounds great, but then you're telling the government, like, hey, here's me, here's what I'm looking at. Government has no right to do that. And I think it's ridiculous. It should not be, you're going to need to submit proof that you're an adult to watch internet pornography. And this idea we're going to protect the innocence of kids, fuck the kids. Not like Vito or Patrick would say fuck the kids, but that's not the reason why this should be a law. So, it's absolute garbage. But the point here is, Clyde uses my ID. No. Yeah, you're going to VPN to Afghanistan. Yeah. But here's the thing. And I think this is actually an interesting thing because you can find this. Like, this is the Age Verification Providers Association, which I'm not really worried about that. But this is the list of states that have this right now. A lot of states throughout 2023, a bunch of states in 2024 did it. But look at 2025. And more importantly, though, look at where we're at now. 25 states, half of America Half of America is doing this now. That's not a promising sign. That's not a promising sign. You know, we'd like to think we're probably far away from those social media acts and those safety acts that are going on in Britain and Australia. I mean, we're halfway there with the States, guys. Whew. Yeah, this is not. I mean, I don't know, guys. This is not good. I don't like where this is leading. I don't like where this is leading. So, yeah, get your tip pics from plastic surgery sites. Although, to be fair, if you're on YouTube, you can find, like, there are naked women you can find on YouTube. Like, there are ways to do that. But, yeah, this is not a good sign. I don't like this track of where things are going. And it's not my porn. It's the fact that if half the states are already agreeing to do this, how hard do you think it's going to be to pass this shit at a federal level and have online safety acts? That's the problem. That's the problem. So, that's the problem. Yeah, this leads to pixelated genitals and used panty vending machines. But yeah, that's the thing. This is going to lead to you just having to have an ID to cruise the internet. Yeah, this gets digital ID implemented. Yeah. And this is something I was trying to fight when this was getting proposed. And it fucking steamrolled through the Ohio government, which really sucked. But yeah. That ship sailed with COPPA, my friend. Well, that's part of it too. That's part of it too. So. Sweet Tooth Fairy says, I was stunned when I saw the blurred lines video. Well, yeah, well, I guess. I need to show you some of these YouTube videos. You can't. We'll get killed. But yeah, this is just, it's not a good sign. It's like, yeah, I'm not, this is not good stuff. Not good stuff. With more things out there, though, I'm kind of moving on to some more internet-related stuff. YouTube. Yes, YouTube is having to bend the knee to the emperor of mankind. You know, I know people are saying, well, this is all about Trump regulating them. No, this is just like NBC and ABC. They knew they were in the wrong. Paying $24.5 million to settle the Trump lawsuit. And what happened is after he sued them, after he got suspended following the January 21st insurrection. Yeah, oh, that's what it was. The most, the only insurrection where, like, nobody brought guns. And, like, there was never going to be an insurrection. So. But YouTube's the last of the big three social media companies, which included Meta and then Twitter, to settle over this. YouTube will pay $22 million to settle the claims made by Trump to the nonprofit Trust for the National Mall, which is elevating the National Mall and is supporting the construction of the White House State Ballroom. And that's the funny part. Trump is making these fucking commies pay for his fucking add-on that he's doing, which is hilarious. Social media, YouTube will also pay $2.5 million to settle with other plaintiffs, including the American Conservative Union. And yeah, Facebook agreed to settle his lawsuit in January for $25 million. Twitter did a $10 million payout. And yeah. It's just hilarious. It's just hilarioso. And yeah, YouTube has said it would reinstate some accounts that were banned for now bogus rules. But, you know, it's saying it values conservative voices on its platform and recognizes these creators have extensive reach and play a role in important civil discourse. Oh, yeah, they really value us. They really value us, chat. But remember what they said. We'll look at it. We'll decide it later. We'll determine if you're breaking the rules or not. But suffer. Yes. And his library is going to be awesome. Yes, it will be. I wonder what it's going to look like. So, that is another great thing for Trump. And then real quick, guys, we are going to answer. We got to get some more of these. There's some other super chats and things here we need to get to. Real quick, John Coleman for $5 says, Kilmar Chaitma Tova. I don't. Wishing you a meaningful Yom Kippur, you mensch. Thank you. BobTube for $5 dues says, is it legal for Dabbler, Carl, etc. to contact other inmates and intimidate Aaron? I mean, like, I don't know how many, like, those inmates could get in trouble themselves if they're, you know, they could get punished for being part of a broadcast as well. So they would, you know, like Carl could get, like, those guys could get a bunch of people in trouble, but like, I know they think it's going to be a joke and a smoke, but I don't think it's probably not going to work the way they're going to do it. Not a good idea. Not a good idea, in my opinion. It's not like they're not going to get arrested or nothing. Let's see. Let me see here. Lone Alaskan has been a member for 13 months. Thank you for the support. Says lucky number 13. Stephen Cooper says there's a similar problem with the shortage of attorneys in the Dakotas and Western Kansas. And he says much of Western Kansas counties are considered a legal desert. Less than one lawyer per 1,000 people. Ooh, that's bad. That's a bad amount. That's a bad amount. Fire PA says, did I see Pope Leo bless that chunk of ice? God bless the ice. Yeah, he was doing it for fucking climate change, which why can't the Pope be like the fucking Jude Law Pope? That guy's based. Like, why can't a Pope be that based? I guess, you know, sadly it won't work out like that. By the way, if you guys haven't watched The Young Pope, very good series. Blaine Scape Corner says tourist visas can't touch guns, period. More in DM. Really? I've let people who have been here on a tourist visa touch a gun before. I think there are a lot of like, I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure you can. I mean, shit, there's you know how many people on YouTube, like, they're like Brits who come to America and they're just here having fun? Well, I mean, they're not here on visas. So the guy I let handle guns was here from Britain and he wasn't here. Like, you don't need a visa. He didn't need a visa at the time. So technically, but even then, like, I don't. Anyways, whatever. Thank you, Blaine. I'll take a look at that. So they can there if they're a hunting or a shooting range. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, we were at a range doing it. Just because I did it doesn't mean I was guilty. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Funny chat. Char. So. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm getting ready for later. Runkle was a tourist visa. Yeah. Well, no, you don't need a visa. Like, if you're coming from Canada, I don't think there is a requirement for you to have a tourist visa. Yeah. So, moving on from there, chat, we are on to the last two stories of the night. We'll do the last one first. We'll do the kind of the more up for tomorrow. P. Diddy, Sean, Puffy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Pot Pie Combs, the freak out king himself, a freak off king, I should say, is getting sentenced tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. in the Southern District of New York. Remember, he was convicted of 2 counts of violating the Mann Act, but he defeated the RICO charge and the sex trafficking charges that he had. Now, it's the issue of what he's looking at. It's the issue of what he's looking at right now that's going to happen. It's the issue of what he's looking at right now. So what's going to happen? Well, there's the way things just get done. And obviously Diddy saying, hey, I want to get probation. Well, they wrote a sentencing memorandum and asking for that. But the federal government also wrote a sentencing memorandum. And this is their sentencing memorandum telling them what they think they want to have happen. And notice, here's what you have in a sentencing memorandum. You include a lot of, it's your way to explain to the court what you want. So you talk about the background, the investigations, the trial. They talk about the offense conduct. They talk about the sentencing guidelines. And guys, we've gone over these before. There's all kinds of stuff. You can get enhancements or reductions. There's an enhancement for serious bodily injury. There's threats. There's multiple multiple victims. Fraud and coercion can enhance it. Your aggravating role, your victims being vulnerable, obstructing justice, those can all enhance. If you're an organizer or a leader, there's a separate one for obstructing. The fact that Diddy went to trial and is still appealing it shows he's not accepting responsibility. He doesn't qualify for the 0-point reductions. They point out that and what they're looking for, guys, ultimately, this goes on and on and on. It's 164 pages. What are they asking for at the end of the day? Well, they eventually tell you what they want. And this is, this is just this. It sounds like butthurt. They weren't able to get what they wanted. It doesn't sound like they got what they wanted. If you notice, though, especially with Diddy stuff, there are tons of it that are still redacted. There's tons of it still redacted. What are his points? Well, we're going to get to his points because they calculate your points at the end of this. And they talk about what your points are for sentencing. Remember that chart you guys have seen? Well, when they calculate his points, they want 135 months imprisonment. And they want a fine of $500,000. 120 months is 10 years, chat. They want basically 11 years for Diddy. So they are asking for a sentence of 135 months. They are fucking going all out. They are going all out. I don't know if he's going to get... I don't think he'll get 11. I could see 2 to 4... J-Rock is 4 years. I see 20... I see 24 to 36 months. And remember, he gets credit for time served. So whatever he gets, there's going to be a bunch of it off the top. Because he's been in jail awaiting trial longer than a year now. So I think he gets 2 to 3. I think he gets 24 to 36 months. And, I think he's, yeah. Marlene's saying 5 years. Give him 5 years of probation. I mean, they can give you a lot of time at supervised release from the feds. It's actually, yeah. So, 15 days with Aaron. That'd be rough. All right, guys. So, yeah, we'll find out tomorrow what happens. For the diddler himself. Now, moving on from that, guys, this is actually really cool. This is, something we haven't seen in a long time, and it's the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ. And they're finally fighting for us. And they're finally going after somebody to defend the Second Amendment. And it's defending it because the LA County Sheriff's Department is not processing concealed carry permits. Yep, Harmeet Dillon. Yep, that Harmeet Dillon. Yep. So, this is... This is going to be interesting, and we're going to get through this here. So, this is a lawsuit that's been filed in federal court in California. Remember, the Central District is where LA is located. LA is located. And you see Harmeet Dillon, Assistant Attorney General, head of the Civil Rights Division. And they are going after the LA County Sheriff's Department and the sheriff in his official capacity. Now, what are they doing? Well, they're systemically denying thousands of law-abiding Californians their right to bear arms outside the home. Not through refusal, but through a deliberate pattern of delay. So what's going on here? So between January 2024 and March 2025, They received 3,900 applications for new concealed carry licenses. Now, you might say, well, wait, why can't... Guys, it's hard as hell to get a CCW permit in LA County. Now, there are other counties where it's really fucking easy to get one. But if you live in LA, it's impossible. I've never seen an LA County concealed carry permit. I have seen a New York City concealed carry license. A permit issued by New York City to carry a concealed handgun. I've seen one I've seen one, like, I got to hold it once. It was really fucking cool. It's like holding moon rocks. You're like, I'll never probably ever see this again. But yes, I've seen them before. They are fucking rare. They're hen's teeth, more or less. Yeah, it's like Hawaii hard. Yeah, it's very, very fucking rare. It's very rare. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure this guy knew some people. This guy knew a lot of people. So, oh yeah. Yeah. Unless it's the cuck permit, you can only know the guy I got to see it from. It was like that dude in the Untouchables, where it was basically like, please extend this man all courtesies. No, this guy had a full carry permit in the city. He got to do whatever the fuck he wanted. So Cumia had a New York City permit. Yep. It's not, I didn't get to see Anthony Cumia's permit. So, yeah, it was 2 years and 20 G's to get it. Yeah, it's a lot of fucking money, man. So, no, not Joe. Not Joe. You don't need a permit to carry in the tunnels. But anyways, of these, they approved exactly 2. Out of 4,000, they've only received 2. And that rate can't be explained by legitimate disqualifying factors. Meaning they can't say all these people failed or were not qualified. This also isn't bureaucratic efficiency. Like, you could say, I don't have enough people to process them. But if you've only got 2 done, that's bullshit. And the mechanics of the obstruction are damning. They force people to wait an average of 281 days or 9 months to begin processing their applications, with some people waiting nearly 3 years. This exceeds California's own statutory requirement that authorities provide initial determinations within 90 days. Think about that. Under California law, you have to make a determination within 90 days. In many states, that's the case. With shall issue permitting. And that, we need to rewind here, because there's shall issue and may issue permitting. Shall issue, guys, is the idea that if I meet the requirements, you must issue me a permit for carrying a concealed firearm. You don't get discretion if you're the sheriff or the licensing authority. If I meet all the requirements, you immediately let me do it. And there's no way to stop me. Then there's may issue, where it's discretionary and you can use your judgment. And we've seen this before in like some states like Massachusetts, where for a while there you had to write like a thing about, dear police chief, I should be allowed to please let me have a concealed carry permit. I will be a good boy, but you have to do all that shit. You don't have to do that anymore. But that was part of may issue. It's entirely discretionary. And it's completely fucking ridiculous. It's completely fucking ridiculous at this point. And the funny thing is, when you look at shall issue versus may issue states, it's a very weird fucking map, because you're like, well, wait. And when you look at the map of shall issue versus may issue, California is a shall issue state. But the counties in California, if they act illegally and not in accordance with the law, nobody cares. No one cares. No one cares. But look at all of these states that are, even Massachusetts is shall issue, but it's still, people get denied that shit all the time. It's really fucking hard. And notice, it's only 2 states now that are may issue. But even in states like in New York, it's a fucking disaster. I've heard about this, where you apply and like, I think it's in New York, judges still have a say in it, and they could scribble on pistol permits. Like they can limit what you do with your pistol permits. Because remember, in the state of New York, to handle a pistol, technically you need a pistol permit. So you can't even go to the gun store and look at a gun without a pistol permit, technically, the way it's done. Stacy says, I want nationwide constitutional carry. I don't want the federal government being involved in that. Do I want the Supreme Court saying you don't need a license to do that? Yeah. Stacy says, I got mine in 2 weeks flat. I got mine done. Mine got processed in like 5 days, and I got mine when I got mine. And then I got it renewed when I moved. But then the neat part is now all the states with permitless carry, also known as constitutional carry, that has kind of eliminated the need to do stuff. Although I probably need to re-update, but at this point now, the states where you can carry without a permit are getting pretty high. Like it's getting there. It's getting to a good number. And it's just getting the days are getting better and better as we go. There's a map now of permitless carry of 2025. Let's see here. This is actually a good map. This map will work. As much as I hate USCCA because they're fucking scam artists, this is a map of everywhere you don't need a CCW or a CHL to carry. There are some counties in New York that basically say you filled out the application, here's your permit. I understand. But there are a ton of counties in New York that are fucking awful. And a majority of the counties. Anderson says some counties had the police interview people. Jesus Christ. Mickey says you're quiet about Aaron, Sean. Not answering. What? Please rephrase that because I don't understand what the fuck you're asking, and I'll answer your question without the super chat. That is not fucking... I can't read that. I want federal constitutionalism and still want state laws. I want the Supreme Court saying you don't need a fucking permit. Permits are unconstitutional. That's what I want. So, that's what I want. And now it sounds like even in Florida now, Florida is like having a revolution right now. There's like an insurgency about allowing open carry. But, in Ohio right now, I can go from like Ohio, I can drive all the way to Florida, and I don't need a carry permit to carry. I can go from Ohio all the way to Texas, and I don't need a permit. If I'm going to go fuck around in some of these other states, though, I'm going to need to have my permit updated and have my shit ready to go. And this one in North Dakota, I think is highly unconstitutional. That's a very unconstitutional statute. Permitless carry for residents only. Fuck that. That is illegal as shit. The sad thing is I can't drive all the way to Alaska. But yeah, that there are like, a lot of states I can go to. I don't need a permit right now, which is dope. So, some states can deny you for a permit for a legal weapon if they don't feel you don't need caliber. Yeah, there's some places that can do that. I think there's some states. I think it's California. You have to also. I think it was Nevada too for a while. I think I remember reading people talk about it. Some states, if you own like certain guns, you have to qualify with each gun, and there's guns listed on your permit that you're allowed to carry. And if it's not listed on your permit, you can't carry it. Some of these states are fucking weird, man, and that's not like California too. Let's see here. Yeah, the Second Amendment is the permit. I think so. BobTube says, don't be like Australia. It takes you 6 months to get a license. Well, you guys also can't own pistols, but yeah, you need a permit for each gun, which takes 2 months. Yeah. I don't ever want to be like Australia. So. Did North Carolina override the veto of governor's constitutional carry? I think so. I mean, I don't know, though. I'm not 100% sure. You could drive to Alaska if you find the right ferry, yeah. Yes, New York also requires you to buy a gun before you apply for the permit, but you can't take it from the store until it's approved. I've heard of that as well. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking weird things in some of these places. So... It can't be an AR pistol, which were being approved in Sacramento County for a while. That's fucking hilarious. People were getting AR pistols recognized. Although I didn't think you could own an AR pistol in California because, like, it would have a detachable magazine and shit. Wouldn't that become an assault weapon? I don't know. California's all fucked up. California's all fucked up, man. So, California is all fucked up, guys. Terabus says you can't drive to Alaska. Yet. That's right, chat. We may still have it. You know, that's right, chat. I am still a supporter of 5440 or fight. We need a contiguous 49 states. Let me see here. Let me see. Where is... Mickey, are you saying, why didn't I talk about Aaron? We started off with Aaron. We talked about him for like an hour. So it's there. Go back and watch. You're all good. If that's what you were asking, I couldn't understand the way you typed out that super chat. You did watch a guy get a CCW for an SKS pistol? How did a guy... You have to... How... How do you make a fucking SKS into a pistol? Did he just call it a pistol? I mean, I guess that, but like, it had a mag. I don't care that it had a mag conversion. It's an SKS. It doesn't. Even like the gas piston and all that shit ends at the fucking muzzle. You can't obrez an SKS. I mean, it sounds based. I don't understand how you do that. He's boofering. Yes, I don't understand how that worked. Bubba can do anything. I'm just like, how does that work? How does that work? It was? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I mean, like, I'm looking like, I mean, I like I said, I have a Yugo that somebody's holding on for me still. I got to reach out to that guy, see if he still got it. But like, I'm looking at an SKS, but like, even like, you know, you can cut it down to the gas piston, I guess. I just, you know, if it's a Yugo, you're going to have a problem because you have the, you know, the rifle grenade cut off. But I don't understand how that works. I don't understand how that works, guys. Because you could cut it down to the gas piston if it's like a regular SKS. Okay. And then you cut it off in the back end, but like, that's a lot of shit to hold out in front. That's like a, the pistol is based on the stock, not the barrel. Yeah, but I don't understand how that works, though. Ivy, yeah, Iraq veteran 1488, SBR to Mosin, the ugly Mosins. Yeah, no, brezing Mosins is kind of like a thing. I get it. Don't you doubt Bubba. I understand, but like, if you turned a SKS into a pistol, that's kind of like when they made the tank, like people make tanker Garands where they chop it all down. I'm like, it's still a fucking unwieldy thing. That's like shooting like a mare's leg lever action gun. You're still gonna have to hold it with both hands. I don't understand it. If it was a Norinco, Why would you do that to a Norinco? Those are fucking beautiful guns. So, yeah, this way you get an arm brace. Oh. So, Maddie says it was gay. Okay, well, there we go. I'm sorry. That ruined my day. I couldn't figure it out. Let's get to the lawsuit, though. Let's get back to the lawsuit after we got sidetracked there. So let's get back to this lawsuit here. So the human cost is profound. As of May 25th, 2025, 2,700 applications remain pending, with interviews scheduled as late as November 2026. Some people, it's like, hey, we're going to have an interview a year and a half from now. And they say people simply gave up and withdrew, often after waiting months in the stalled process. These are not abstract statistics. They represent thousands of law-abiding citizens. And they point out that in New York State Rifle and Pistol versus Bruin, hold on, where are people messaging me? No, hold on here. I'm not worried about that. I'll worry about it later. These people have the right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside the home. But here's a problem. You might say, well, in California, open carry. You cannot open carry in California. You can't even open carry an unloaded firearm in California. And you haven't been allowed to open carry for a long time in California because of the Mulberry Act in California. Or what is it? Hold on. And that's when the Black Panthers went to the California State House and open carried firearms. It's the Mulford Act. Sorry, not the Mulberry Act, but the Mulford Act. And what did they do? They went ahead and they went fucking all out. They went to the California State House in 1967 and carried fucking guns in the California State House. Yep. When Governor Reagan. Yep. And notice that one guy in the back's carrying an M1 carbine with a 30-round mag. That was the hot, handy assault rifle before you could get a hold of like an AR-15. Because that was very cheap. Those things were dirt cheap to have back then. And yeah, it's pretty fucking base carrying guns in your state house. So, California is a lot more in a stand your ground state. California allows you to press the attack. California's got a very, if you're in a good court, California's a very based fucking self-defense jurisprudence. It's really based on what it, like, it's very based. But this is what they did. They showed up and they all had their fucking guns. They stood on like shotguns and, like here's homie with his fucking, his M2 carbine, fucking hanging out. And yeah, they were like, it's legal. We can't do nothing about it. So, yeah, there you go. The M2 slaps. Yes, it does. You had a Universal made in Florida. Yeah, the Universal carbines, I heard, were kind of shitty. So Reagan was scared of the blacks. This scared the entire California legislature because they're like, oh my God, all these black folks showed up with guns. And they immediately banned open carry in California. But for a long time, you could open carry unloaded firearms. But I think in the last 10, 15 years, California got rid of that too. So you can't even carry like an empty, unholstered firearm. Yep, they did that in Michigan 2 years ago. Stupid move by patriots. No, it's not. Those fuckers should see people with guns. I hope they feel uneasy in the state houses. So they should fucking suffer. Politicians should be scared. It's our birthright to scare politicians and threaten them. So they say the defendants have constructed an administrative labyrinth designed to frustrate and ultimately deny this fundamental right. Yep. And this is more than administrative delays. It's an effort to nullify through bureaucratic obstruction what they can't deny through law. And it says the U.S. brings this action under the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act of 1994. So they point out the plaintiff is the United States of America. The defendant is the LA County Sheriff's Department, which is rife with fucking gangs. And under the auspices of the defendant, Rob Luna, they're responsible for the issuance of a license to carry to qualified applicants who reside or have a principal place of employment within LA, which that is a neat thing. You can get it because you have a place of business. He's been the sheriff of LA County since 2022, and he is the responsible licensing official. And he's duty-bound under California law to issue a license to qualified applicants who reside or have a place of employment. This is a federal jurisdiction issue, so they're allowed to do it. This venue is proper because the LA Sheriff's Department is located in the Central District. I'm not worried about that. They say in California, carrying a concealed firearm is a crime unless you have specific exemptions. And if you have a concealed handgun license, you're good. And he appoints people to assist him to do this. And they are licensing authorities. And notice this is only 9 pages. This is how succinct they're doing this. In California, a license to carry a firearm is valid for no more than 2 years from the date of issuance. Notice, they make you go every 2 fucking years to reapply. Ohio, it's 5 if you want to renew your license. And they say under California law, they must determine whether the applicant is a disqualified person who cannot renew a license by conducting an investigation that meets several requirements, including an in-person interview with the applicant. And they say within 90 days of receiving the application, they must give written notice of the initial determination. If they determine the applicant is not a disqualified person, it must inform the applicant to proceed with the training requirements and then submit fingerprints, which then must promptly furnish the forwarding licensing authority as to whether the person is prohibited by state or federal law. And you have to give written notice indicating if it's approved or denied within 120 days of receiving the completed application or 30 days after receiving the reports from the California DOJ. And they say with respect to a renewal, they are required to give this notice within 120 days of receiving the completed application. And they notify the sheriff that it was opening an investigation, that they are unduly burdening or effectively denying with lengthy wait times. And they say through the sheriff's department's counsel, it provided information. And they included data for 8,400 applications for licenses to carry, including the 4,000 new and the 4,000 renewals from January 2024 to March of 2025. And they say for each application, they had to show the dates. And they say the first step is to receive a completed application. The next step was either to schedule an interview or any other step required under California law. So they talk about this, and they say that as of May 8th, 2025, of the applications for a new license, there were only 2. Only issued 2 and denied 2. So they really only fully processed 4 fucking licenses. As of May of 2025, the applications for a new license to carry remain pending, and the remaining 1,200 were withdrawn for various reasons after sitting for months. And they say of the pending applications to carry, the interviews are already set for November 2026. Fucking, you think about that. That's insane, man. And the median number of days to the next step was 372 from the sheriff's department receiving the application. So even if you give them everything, it takes them a year to fucking do everything. The maximum number of days recorded for one guy is approximately about 3 years. 1,095 days is 3 years, but holy shit, guys. Renewing your CCW in Sacramento County costs $600. Fuck that. Yeah, how much is it here and where I'm at? Let's see. Let me see here. Let's see here. The fees. A renewal. I've been an Ohio resident for more than 5 years. $61, which that's still fucking a lot. That's interesting. That's interesting. So that's interesting. It's only $61. In Michigan, you must also have a concealed carry to carry your weapon in your vehicle. Well, that's kind of like depending where you're at in Ohio. I fought that for people saying like, if there's no need to carry, like you don't need to carry, like I've had to fight that a couple of times. So they point out they want declaratory and equitable relief. They want injunctions on this. They basically, what they're going to try to force here is either you process people or everybody's allowed to carry without a permit in LA County. And that's something that the state of Illinois had to deal with. When Illinois was fucking around with his concealed carry statute, the 7th Circuit said, if you don't fucking fix it, we're just going to let everybody carry a fucking gun. And you know what happened? It took them like 2 weeks and the Illinois legislature passed the fucking law and they figured it all out. So. You know, they point out that the Second Amendment is incorporated through the 14th Amendment, and that's through McDonald versus City of Chicago. And law-abiding citizens carrying concealed weapon with a license is conduct protected by the Second Amendment, and they're citing Bruin. And California state law requires the defendants to give an initial reproval or denial within 90 days. And the defendants are governmental authorities. And they go through all this, a systemic practice of delaying and denying applicants a prompt determination, failing to provide them a meaningful notice of the status of their applications or reasons for delays, forcing applicants to abandon their constitutional rights through administrative exhaustion. And it's a pattern or practice of conduct that deprives people of their rights. And unless there's an injunction, it's going to continue. So they want a declaration that there's a pattern and practice of subjecting people to delays, and that violates the Second Amendment. You know, this is going to go up to the 9th Circuit. Maybe this goes all the way. But they want a permanent injunction prohibiting the defendants from implementing California law and regulations in a manner that violates California law. Notice we're not going to get away with saying like, oh, permitless carrying in LA County, but that's what might happen here. That's what might happen here. So this is a very based thing there. This is a very based thing. So that is the great thing with this chat. We are all caught up now. We are all done. It's making these people suffer is like the best thing possible. It's the best thing possible here. Making the and by people, the sheriff's department. Make this guy suffer. You know, it's sad that we're not going to see him go to prison for depriving our rights under the color of law, but that would be a great thing to see happen. That would be a great thing to see happen. But yeah, we won't get that. We won't get that. Good on Harmeet and his team, her team. Yeah, I mean, as long as they're going to go through with this, let's get it. Let's get it. Now, we know the courts are going to fight her. The courts are just going to let shit kind of slide. But it's good to see what's going to happen. It's good to see what's happening. And you know what? Make the most of it. Get that fucking lawfare going. Run wild with it finally. Yeah. So that's it for us tonight, chat. Under 2 hours. 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 30 seconds. Now, boom, done. We are all done, guys. We are going to head over to locals. Promo code summertime 2025. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff over there in locals. We're going to try to figure out how do you fucking make a pistol out of an SKS. We're going to have to do some like photoshopping on that, I guess. Not sure what else we're going to do over there, but we're going to do all kinds of fun stuff we can't do here. So join us over there, guys. Promo code summertime 2025. Summer's over, but we're going to leave it up for a minute. Body cams, all kinds of fun stuff over there, guys. So hang out. You'll enjoy it. If you don't use a promo code, well, you're going to have a tough time because that's the only way to see the after show, the after party. It's going to be fun. Hope to see you guys there. Tomorrow night, we're going to go through some updates on what's going on with the Fudbusters case and Cody Wilson. There have been a lot of fucking interesting updates on that. We're going to go through that. I'm going to see if I can get Matt to join us. If he can't, we'll go over it by ourselves because it's going to be very interesting. See, Matty really one guy Sean with that SKS. It is. Well, I want to understand it. So Bob says I refuse to be a pay pig. Well, you don't have to pay. There's a promo code. It's springtime in the Southern Hemisphere. Well, I don't care. At the bottom of the world. That's the world's asshole down there. It's the bottom. That's where the poop comes out. All right, chat. So we're all set. We will see you guys tomorrow night. Like I said, we'll go over the Fudbusters stuff. And then Saturday, I kind of want to review a debate, and it's just because Ryan Mullally was in it, but the person he was debating was absolutely fucking retarded. And I think it's hilarious to listen to this person act like a retard. And I'm probably going to watch that. And, we'll probably work on a model during the day or something. But yeah, we're going to have to see that. And it'll be a lot of fun. You'll have to figure out, I'm not going to tell you who it's with, who he makes look like a retard, but it's very funny by the time he gets to the end. And yeah, that's it for tonight, chat. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you for all the support. Thank you guys on Kick, on Twitter, and on YouTube. And then, guys, see you guys over in locals. And just remember until next time, chat, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Unless you're violating bond or being a retard doing it and then letting Gino Bisconti help you violate bond. Don't be that fucking stupid. Chat, don't do that. Don't do that. Good night, chat, and I will see you guys later.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fact